You are now in the realm of enlightenment and transformation.
Welcome to Chief Speaks.
All music performed and produced by Yu Yang.
Enlightenment and transformation. Enlightenment comes from allowing yourself to journey through the dark shadows of death, the primordial abyss of wisdom's waters. For it is the treasures and mysteries that lie wait in the dark that transform us and propel us to a new enlightened state. One should neither aspire to live in the light nor the dark, but should journey between the two in order to evolve the overall reality into a self-actualized creation. Knowledge is your light as wisdom is your darkness. The bold interplay of the two in your life leads you to an enlightened understanding of yourself and the universe you've created. Male is your enlightenment. Female is your transformation. Child is your evolution. Woman, accept the light into your darkness so it may enlighten you. Man, bring your light boldly into the darkness so that it may transform you. Enlightenment and transformation.
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've just done to me. Thank you so much.
Wow. This is like the best call I've had in ages on BTR.
So this show was meant for me to be able to hear today. And I'm so thankful.
That's his home.
Therefore, now a new pathway has now been cut in order to get to the Almighty, where there may not have been one. So the communication with them, if they have enough power and strength to talk to us, the communication will carry.
That's one of the reasons I don't get into the current events thing too much, because it starts to become a perpetual alarm clock that we just keep hitting snooze on. I speak to the ascended masters, quote unquote. I talk about spiritual stuff, but I also speak about some very practical, we can do today things.
Be as natural as you can be with your spiritual. You can't always go by your feelings, because your feelings are corrupted. Your feelings are just as corrupted as everything else, your chakras and everything else. You got to know what's beyond you, and that's why we have elders. We can't do everything. You can't get everything out of books or a weekend certification. You can have the most powerful, ancient, oldest, most, as far as you know, truthful tradition in your hands. And if you still have a dirty spirit, you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to learn anything. You're not actually going to grow. I try to teach in a way where I make myself obsolete. That's always been my goal, to make myself obsolete.
I really wanted to, kind of pick you up. I think you're awesome.
There's a lot of elders out here right now that want to know what's going on. They're not getting on Twitter and stuff like that, but they want to be up on the new stuff. Sit down and have some conversations with them. It's not always about hearing their story. It's also about being news reporters for them and letting them know, like, yeah, this is what's happening right now. They may tell you something about what happened in Charleston that you couldn't even. Your spirituality has to create same spiritual family. Okay, and that family exists first inside of you. You have to express the different expressions of that rainbow coalition of spirits inside of you first. Okay, don't let communities hijack that rainbow. Because the problem is, when we come into the conscious community, the dudes are doing the same thing that the women are doing.
I just want to say that I really enjoy your show every Sunday, and my friend and I call it going to church. When we call him, we'll be like, "You going to church?" And I'm like, "Where have y'all been at?"
God cannot go against its own truth. So anytime you have an inkling that God is going against its own truth, then God is no longer behaving as God. So therefore, the spiritual community doesn't recognize God. You dig where I'm coming from? Or can we have a new thought? Can we step outside of the books for a second and have a new conversation about hair weaves and wigs? Can we have a new conversation about homosexuality? Can we have a new conversation about vegan eating? We do. It's a good day for an exorcism.
Like I said in Grasping the Divine Power, darkness is a cradle for light, because attention is the light that we inject into them. But darkness needs the light, because the light shapes the darkness.
What I seen in the mirror was nothing nice. So I went into the darkness in the pitch black nights. Took a second, took a breather, analyzed my sights. Looked from the mountaintop to define me right. And what came out the dungeon, a magnificent light. Filled with family, filled with shoe. From that I shed lights. A tragedy it was when I didn't act act right. Ego tripping, hard lessons was a product of that. Now I fully understand that I'm never in lack. Iwapeli, good characters, only requisite facts. I cite the direction and my compliment reacts. We create life as a unit, such a glorious path. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my soul, my soul. The process of riddle with losses and gains. Trying to find your sanity in a world that's insane. Using your talent, spirit, and a tool called your brain. Displaying your soul with codes in your DNA. Down a silver chain, back up a golden lane. Experiences received to enhance your flame. You gotta know why you came. Your life purpose is the aim. So go boldly in the dark, let the wound change your state. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my soul, my soul. It ain't an easy journey, patience needed for growth. With stamina and dedication, you're on the right road. Understand your ups and downs, develop your control. Know that your body, spirit, and mind is created by your soul. A new nation, a new life, the initiative is global. It's a movement, it's a group that we all play our role in. The directive is gold, it's hard work and swollen, creating a space for continuous growing.
If you're looking at the interplay between light and darkness, you see, because remember, the darkness is a void, it's without form, it's shapeless. You see, it wants for nothing, needs for nothing, it's the causeless cause. But when it receives light, it receives definition and form.
In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my transformation. In my enlightenment, I found my soul, my soul.
Hey, peace. Welcome, everyone, to Chief Speaks. I know we're starting a little late. I see that you guys showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know how we do, man. We work it out. Me and Zach been on the line, man. Wait.
Yeah, man. I heard you guys in the background. I said, let me just bring the line up, but I didn't know if you would be there because we didn't put out a announcement like we normally do, man. But y'all are solid. Y'all are here. So all right. So
when you're paying attention and participating, you should be on your job. That's how I look at it.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna let you guys rock then, man. I don't really need to say too much then. I'm gonna let you rock. I'll play the background.
All right. Yeah. It's good, Zach. Man, things are well. Things are moving. Grooving. Peace to you, brother. I want peace to everybody that's listening here. Peace to the Chief. Stay solid. And there's nothing, man. We gonna be here because you always here, brother. So I mean, when you're a part of a community, when you say you're gonna do something, you do what you say you're gonna do. So whether people are gonna be here or not, we gonna be here. We rocking. So let's get it on, man. What's going on with you, brother Anwar?
I'm well, man. I'm well. Ready to go. Fired up. Got to do it the reverse because we peeling things back from the solar solstice and bringing in the new, keeping what we need, and moving forward with it. So,
about
exactly.
So, I just want to talk about a little bit of how we got to this point, and where we came from, and then where we how we got to this month of June and the summer solstice. So in January, we started with the 2017 vibe. One of the shows that was on that one, which I encourage everybody, if you have not already, or even if you had, just to keep going back and listening to them. Because once you keep listening to them, you keep downloading that into your mind. You start to move different, walk different, talk different a little bit. But one of the shows that was on there, which I thought was huge, was this entitlement piece, and how the entitlement mindset can hinder one from actually evolving and getting to where they need to be. Because when you feel like you're entitled to something, you don't work for it. You don't grind for it, and nothing's ever going to be handed to you. How many people do you see just get on here and feel like they're entitled to get a question answered, or I'm entitled for you to just tell me what I need to know? But if somebody just gives it to you, it has a different meaning if you actually go out and search for it. You actually go out and you grind for it. So that was one of the shows that I was on in January. And of course, there was many more than that. So again, go back and check that to the month of February, which was Contradictions. And that was one of the ones where you had to take a hard look at yourself and say, you know what, am I a walking, talking contradiction? Am I saying one thing, but am my actions doing something totally different? Am I saying one thing but keep falling for the okie doke for somebody else telling me that Chief would put flim flam, riggedy rack, sun, moon, and stars, and then you falling for it? Because when you keep falling for it, it's not really on the person that is saying it. It's on you now to not be able to see the light that this person is showing you are emanating from the inside. So now you got to take a look at that. Am I walking around trying to tell sisters we build and we doing this, but the only thing you're trying to build is your body count and peace? Sisters, are you walking around with Kyrie shells and all these little things on your neck, but you still got your Negro mind, and every time you want to just argue with your man, then you can't come together? So one of the things that he was just cracking open was you got to take a hard look at yourself. And then it went to the month of March, was we was in the spring equinox. And that was basically it was breaking down the wheel of life in one of the shows. And he was talking about, the Tibetan Buddhist wheel. And the only way to find some stability on the wheel is, well, to move to the center of the wheel. And eventually you want to move off of the wheel. And at the center of that wheel was the boar, the snake, and the rooster. Now, once you learn to master these things, you get off of the wheel. But once you lock yourself into a certain paradigm, you lock yourself into any part of religion, any type of something, and you lock yourself in there, then there's really no anchoring. There's really no chance for you to have any stability there, because the worst part is on the outer ring, and you find yourself getting stuck in, I'm a Libra, or I'm a Pisces, and I'm this, so we're just that way, and it's just that way. No, that's something that you came here to work on. That's something, the skills that you needed, but now you're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to keep growing, and you're supposed to go. So then it went to the month of April, and April was on authority. And man, every time I go back and keep listening to that, that was straight.
That was a hot month. That was a hot month. They didn't like to hear about authority on that month. That's right.
Authority, but man, and it got me, because every time I go back and listen to it, your authority comes from your lineage. And when you start to look at your line, and that's the biggest thing that we have to start looking at now is, can you go past further than your grandfather? Oh yeah, I know my grandfather. But once you start to connect to a lineage, once you start to connect to a line, once you start to connect to a new line, and you start to see, you know what, she'd be going hard. You start to see the people that in this line, you got to go hard. And once you start to go hard, and you don't let somebody come in and co-opt that, you don't let somebody come in and take it, because they don't really have a connection to that divine line, but you only go into it because it brings order. You're only attracted to it because of you think they have authority, but your authority has been co-opted. So now you have to now take a look at it and say, you know what? I'm going back to get my stuff. I'm going back to get everything that was taken from me from the ruler to the tutor. Now what you going to do about it? And that's going to give me authority. And then authority went into the month of power. And we know that knowledge is not power, but knowledge gives you the authority to will power. So there's a way that this works. There's a way that this goes, and there's a line. And he's going to start breaking it down to you, so that now you are able to wield power. And you say, oh yeah, well, women are attracted to power, but women are power. So are they really attracted to power, or are they attracted to authority? Because authority now brings order. So now you have to take a look at yourself, especially men. He's like, and he always says this, I blame this on the men. You blame this on the men because now you have to, do you have authority? Are you connected to that line, that lineage? Are you connected so you can stand on your square and say, you know what, this is what it is, to provide that hard line, that watery fluid movement element, so that therefore we're going to create a hard line, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to protect it by any means necessary. So then once you get to this month of June, then you're able to celebrate the work that you put in, and we get to the summer solstice. You get to the summer solstice where you can celebrate and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor at this point of your evolution that you've been working and putting in the energy and effort to change yourself. And as you change yourself, you should be changing the people around you, because nothing can stay stagnant. If you're evolving, everything around that thing has to evolve with it. So even if when you start raising your children, it's not what you leave to something. It's not what you leave to your child. It's what you leave inside of. But you can't leave nothing inside of them if you don't have nothing inside of yourself. So now we get to this point where you was fighting your ego, you was fighting everything that told you you got it all figured out. You got it where you just make everything where it is, but you finally took a look at it and said, you know what, I've been putting this work, I've been studying these shows, I keep going back studying these shows, I'm going in and making sure that I got this right, and I'm doing it so you can celebrate it. Now, just because you can celebrate now doesn't mean that you stop. That means you go back. So it's no different than when we used to play football, and you will put the time, everybody will watch it. I know some of y'all don't watch sports, and I'm not advocating it in the least bit, but this is just what I know. So one of the things that we had to do, you had to go through winter workouts. And winter workouts where you would just fight, you would grind, you would claw to get bigger, you get faster, you get stronger, and you would put in the blood, sweat, and tears with your teammates, so that therefore now you know what you got. You know what you got inside of you. You know what you got with the person next to you. You know what they can do and what they can't do, and you keep fighting to get better and strong. That takes you to spring practice. With spring practice takes you to summer workouts. And then you start to play in the battle in the game, and then the goal is to win a championship. The goal is to win, so that therefore now you become the winner of everybody, and then you go back to grinding again. Because if you just stay stuck, like the line in Andre 3000 said, you only funky as your last cut. You keep focusing on the past, and that'll be your last. So, but you celebrate that for a little bit. So how does that correlate into what you're doing? You go into the trenches of where you study. You go into this trenches of where now you fighting your ego. You go into this trenches where nobody sees you, and you feel like nothing is moving forward for you. And you feel like nothing is happening, but you still go into the trenches. You go into that trench and get that squirrel vibration. That squirrel vibration is where you just keep stacking. Even though nobody's watching, you feel like you ain't making any kind of movements, or anything is not moving forward in front of you, but you keep working. You keep working on yourself. You keep working on your mind. You keep working on how this whole circuit and how it flows. And you see the family aspects and all of this, and you just keep working, because at the end of the day, when you actually step out and you step into that summer solstice, and you can say, you know what, I'm not that person. Even if you're not where you feel like you should be, even if you not feel like you haven't reached your destination, which life is about, the journey, you still can celebrate. Just like if you were trained for a 10K and you say, I didn't make the time I did, but you know what, you're still better than that person that started the race. So that you celebrate that, and then you go back, and that's how you go and get your evolution. So that's a little bit that I got from it. With Brother Anwar, what you got?
Okay, well, I broke down the month, so you went all the way back, and I'm glad that you did that, because it gives us all a little insight on how far we've traveled since the beginning of the year. And even if you go back into the archives of last year, we've been working on self-development and personal psychology and thought for about a year, almost a year and a half now. And it's leading us up to this place of the solstice, where we're starting to burn off what was not working in our lives, and trying to recapture everything that was, and building ourselves into another plane, another vibration, moving forward to this year, to this next year, this coming up year, this movement that we're going back into creation with the steps that we've taken so far. So I'll break down one of the first ones, the summer solstice. The first Chief Speaks that he did this month was on this part one. Summer solstice. Let me get that. Yeah, summer solstice part one. That's the topic. Title of it. It's a time to reset. And when he said time to reset, this is a time where you sit back and analyze everything that you've gone through, what you've gotten rid of, and what you've gained, and put yourself into a place of focus onto where you're going to go. So the reset is important in the situation, because when we're doing the reset, you're actually starting to recharge and get yourself into a place where you've seen your downfalls, seen your upcomings, and able to navigate a little bit more clearly for the next couple months. going into the whole month of creation at the end of the year. All right. We're at the height of creation. That's another thing he had said. The height of creation. At the height of creation, what is the time to keep what we need? You know what I'm saying? So what we need is the elements that we've gained throughout this time. So that's what the solstice is about. And then take that stuff that we've gained and go into creation. We're planting a seed of rebirth. That's something that came into my mind. We're planting a seed of the rebirth coming into the winter solstice. So, like, you know, you're putting all the elements that you've learned throughout this time, and making those work into that seed and starting to flourish and manifest. Like he was saying, in summertime, a lot of things are starting to flourish. You know, this is the time planting, and things are starting to grow. So when autumn comes, it'll be time for the picking, time for the harvest. So, you know, that was those are some highlights from the first Chief Speaks. He also went into the significance of the calabash, or the Igba Odu and Igba Iwa. Iwa would be the character in the calabash, the Igba Odu, the calabash. And once again, we spoke about the calabash, the great calabash being always full. It's always there. It's always ready to go. And it's just pulling the information that we've learned from that calabash and utilizing that information. But it's also one of those things that it goes back to the more you know, the more the calabash will expand. So, you know, the calabash is always full, but you're always searching to see what is inside of the calabash. And as you find things that are inside the calabash starts to expand more. It goes back to that saying of the more you know, the less you realize you do know. So, right. Destiny, quality of the destiny and the quality, it has to deal with the quality of the Igba Odu, the character of it, like how well is that information that's been brought to you relating to you? How well is your thoughts inside of it? What are the words that you're using to move forward with? Because some like Chief spoke on, like using the weekends and the weekend or the week. That word weak applies that something's weakening. So, you know, if you're using words like strong in or strong, you're actually thinking about the strength that you're doing throughout the week, the elements that are happening during the week. This is a relationship to the quality of the words that you use coming from your thought forms. You know, another thing that kind of highlighted that was thought forms too, was how everything that we might relate, they're really just thought forms, eguns, orishas. But at the same time, we give our respects and reverences, but at the same time, it's a thought form. It's something that when we step into a place of unknowing and we need to pull from a certain energy, we have this experience from this orisha, this Netaru, this deity, and we can take that experience and take those information and use it for that particular situation. All right, and then he went into going from that, and the Igba Odu, I do recommend everybody go back to that one, because that is a really good show, and really kind of, for me, what I got out of that was really getting into your thoughts and keeping your thoughts in a place where you're able to move forward with, instead of having thoughts going all over the place. Solomon's Light. Let me go to Solomon's Light. He did show, once again, I think, let me just check the Solomon's Light, which is the Solomon's Light of Amun, and the salutations from the sun. He spoke on salt and the sun and refinement. Sun the sun to be salt being a representative of what the salt being the representative of what the sun does to the earth. Because actually, and this is something I'm adding on to it, is that I scientifically, let's say you take some ocean water and you let the water from the ocean dissipate. What's left is the salt, and it's crystallized. So the sun, the heat pulls the water out, makes it into air, and it turns into a salt crystal. It has now crystallized. So if you take that expression and break it down to the point where you can see that once the sun, the light has ventured into the darkness or the waters of the emotions and done its job, it has now crystallized. It has now transformed it to a crystallized part, the scene. And that's one of the biggest things about the Light of Solomon was is bringing the hidden to the forefront. You know, light dispels darkness. So that element of salt, when it's there, it helps bring all the information that you had to the forefront and crystallize it in this form that you have now, and which you've gained throughout the month. That okay, now this is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm thinking nowadays. So, you know, light dispels darkness. That's kind of the one of the main taglines. And for more information on that, go ahead and go back to that one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop right there.
No, solid. So, you know, and when you were speaking, it made me think of just that you went back to the first show with the summer solstice, and then he was talking about how the sun was androgynous. You know, and how we often sometimes think about how the sun is, you know, a masculine, which then he brought into it, say, you know what, but sometimes it depends on what tradition you come from. You might say mother son, or some people say father son, which then got me looking at the sun in a whole different way, where some people might say the sun is hollow, but then they don't understand really what the dark matter is. So then you say, well, if they've got solar flares on the sun, then that means the sun is chaotic. So then I was looking at it in the sense of which kind of what he was breaking down here, which, and I could be, but it was almost as if you're showing the structure of how things are supposed to operate. Therefore, now you can conduct energy and you can start to really tap into that source. Whereas people think that money is power, but money makes the little world go round. But what makes the big world go round is energy. And if you start to understand how energy works and how they interplay and the full interplay of the two, which he keeps saying, you shouldn't be wanting to go in the light. You shouldn't want to be in the dark. You should go between the two. Well, if the sun, we already know the sun is not yellow. The sun is black. Then it obviously is, but it keeps evolving. So it's protecting the inside of it. And if you look at any type of wildebeest or any type of animals, and they already know the first thing that they do, they perform, if anything is attacking or wants to try to get through, it has a ring. It has like concentric, basically circles that it protects the evolution. What is the evolution? The child of. So it's going to protect. So you got to get through these different layers in order to get to the evolution. And they protect that by any means necessary, because you know if you kill that, then it can no longer go forward. So I was looking at the sun. And the sun is basically, you got to go through the masculine to get to the feminine. But can you really get there? But it's protecting itself, and it's protecting this evolution. And everything that you actually can see with the physical eye is a form of the death. You're seeing a corrupt version of it, but you can't really get to the real true aspect of it, which is on the inside, because it has now protected itself. So when you start to see that, then you start to have to look at now, what really am I building in my own family? Well, how is this, what am I doing? Am I protecting this front gate so that therefore you can't get to the real feminine aspects, or you can't really get to the evolution of what all of this is about? So I'm not letting you implant genetically modified seeds into my children's mind so that therefore that cycle doesn't keep repeating itself? Are you going to connect yourself back to that lineage and that line so that therefore now we can start to hear, I'm going to hand this to you. So now that goes back to that success and progress that now you hand it over to your successor So now when I hand this over to you, you could do or go further than what I went to. Here's as far as I got it. Now you step on this step, but don't disrespect the root of it, but now go for another height, another level. Or you keep repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Because last time I checked, that was insanity. Do you keep going back to the same religion? Do you keep going back to the same cyclical mindset that one would have, saying that this is the way it has to be done and this is the way it needs to be done, and getting encased in that ego of saying that this is the way it should be? Or are you going to keep fighting that and scratching that and say, you know what, hold on, let me start to look and observe nature. And when you start to observe nature and put things into perspective, then you can start to look and say, you know what, this is the way it needs to be done. You don't fight your earth. Earth, start fighting your man. We got to come together and we got to do this. And then we can come together and celebrate. And that when we start to come together and evolve, and you say, you know what, we're going further and further, and then we start to really tap into that significant and create significant energy, and then start to hand over better things when we see.
That's exactly. And and like you were stating with the family, is that you start realizing that the man's job is to protect, is to preserve, and also to provide the space for the feminine energy, the female, the woman, your family, to be able to transform and evolve into the higher place. And it's funny, you know, it goes back to being in tune with that. And I think that's some of the things that we kind of fall short of sometimes, is that we're not in tune of the happenings. Hello?
Yeah, you still there, bro?
Yeah. And things that are happening inside of our family core. Sometimes we're stepping out of our own job or our own characteristics, where men start doing what the women are doing, and the women start doing what the men are doing, and it's just throwing the family circle and the structure completely off because of that. So, you know, it's good to see, to get in tune with nature and see the happenings. You know, it's just like the last show we spoke on the helix. If I don't know if anyone did the practice or the practice, the thing that Chief had given us idea to do was to go out there and make helixes. You know, I was Indian style doing some meditations, making some helixes, and seeing how, and finding out, like, as soon as you finish doing that, you start feeling like you've actually got into a spinning. To me, I got a spinning vibration from it, and that spinning started to open up my Ori Waju, my first eye, my pineal, and I started to be able to sit down in meditation a lot more comfortably, because I was feeling more in tune with nature during that time. So it has to do with being in your proper roles, man. And I think if you continue men start to behave as men, women start to behave as women, I think a lot of our growth is going to come from that.
Yeah, and like, to me, it's just getting broken down. And from the last show that he did, you can just hear the heaviness in his voice of, like, it's all there. If you really just dig into it and you break it down and you stop there, like, and you got these cats that you get on here and talking about, you know, here's some paperwork for your freedom, or you got these cats on here with wanting to, I got a school over here, just give me money. How am I going to exist? Just give me money, 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 money. And it's like, look at it. If you go ahead and I'm going to give you the root, if you can grasp the root of what you're doing, if you can grasp the root of how you move, then you can start to move in any community. You can start to move and groove with anybody. And you say, you know what, I don't need to fall for all of this other job time mess, because I got the root of it. And once you got the root of it, then now your conversations start to become mathematics. You'll start to say, you know what? 1 + 1, that's not equaling 2. So if you say he did this, or you saying if I do this, I'll get this, and that just doesn't add up, because there's no work involved in that. And you can start to break down these things. So you can say, you know what, hold up. So when I come out here and I present myself, or like the summer solstice, I represent myself, and I come to my highest max, I'm ready to show you what I have been doing in that darkness. I'm ready to show you what I've been learning. I'm ready to show you all the work that I put in, and me grasping the root of what I've been doing. so that therefore now I can come out and present something of nutritional value. But then when I go back in there, and then once you present it, then you go back into that time of, again, of darkness. So you start to go, and it's always just folding in on itself. Again, going back to that 9 vibration, which, you know, 9, anything that you do times the multiplications of 9 goes back to 9. So then, you know, if you do 7 times 9 or 8 times 9 or whatever, then you add those 2 numbers together, again, it goes back to 9. So again, going back to that higher self or that higher aspect, again, representing itself of that summer solstice again. So once you start to go back in on yourself and then, or resource, and then, or rather see that light, and then that light, seeing the light of that source, you come back out again with the evolution of your better self, your better version of yourself. But then sometimes, and I remember this too, I called it a while ago, and it was one of those things where you say, you know, one of your purposes then is of being in the moment. But then you don't want to become a prisoner of the moment, but you want to just be it. But at the same, but when you back it all down, you have to enslave yourself to the moment. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like that's what you want to do. But just like in that movie Shawshank Redemption with my man Andy Dufresne, in order to get to his freedom, in order to get to the other side, man had to crawl through sewage. He had to crawl through feces. He had to crawl through garbage. You get it how you get it. Are you ready to put that work in so you can go get it, so you can evolve and you can represent yourself as a better person? Or you rather just stay stuck in your cell of the shackles of the mind, where you just sitting there, you know something ain't right. You could feel something ain't right, and everything that you're doing, everything that you're fighting for, everything that you feel like you take a step forward, and you're always taking 2 steps back. You're always looking over it. You don't know, and you broke that down with these overlords. And putting more on you, and you turn on the TV, and everything that you see is just negative, and just keep just having your mind in a place where you're in a fight or flight mode. And anytime you're in a fight or flight mode, then your body starts to release these toxins in it. You don't really get to think of your higher self and your higher ideas, your higher purpose, and your higher drive. All you're thinking about is survival. And when you're thinking about survival, you can't think of evolving. You just think of fighting. So then now you got to ask yourself, hold on, man. It's time for me to do something else. It's time for me to make a change. You know what? I may have to plant this. I may have to plant this tree. I may have to plant this and water it, and I may not see the shade from it. But you know what? I know I have to set something up so some other people can survive. I may have to step outside of there. What is my purpose? Let me find out what that is. It's not just to get money and die. Stack cheese, stack bread. It's not just to do that. What am I here to do to evolve? What am I here to do so therefore when I go back, I'm not going to fall for these traps of all these little things along the road of trying to go to the club or getting drunk or anything like that. What is my true original purpose? Once I find my purpose, that's when you can start to find your character and how you function in the community. And then you see what the community needs most, and then you implement yourself in that, and then you'll start to evolve from there. But if you start to fall, if you keep falling for it, you have to ask yourself, you got nobody to blame but yourself. You have to look at yourself. It's time to do something different. And then you come here and you listen to the shows, but then all of a sudden you don't apply it, and then you're wondering why it's not going. You got to start the application. And anytime you evolve, everybody has to evolve around you. And you'll start to see, you know what, you don't really get into arguments. You don't really let your emotions get the best of you. The way you have control over your emotions is knowledge. So anytime somebody presents themselves and says something a little off or a little sideways, the only thing that you turn into, or the one thing that I have started doing now, is teach. You start to teach. People have to evolve. Anytime you have come into a contact with me, anytime I'm on the street, somebody just says something crazy, I'm going to give you a seed. You're either going to put it in the ground or you're going to put it in your pocket. I don't care what you do with it, but just know you got it now. And so now you talk about shrine and altar, you come to me, I'm going to revolutionize your life. I'm going to change the way you look at it, and I'm going to change the way you start talking, because hold on now, he is saying something that's here. And you know why? And what gives you the authority to say that? That's my line, my lineage, my new heritage, where I come from, and that's what gives me the authority to say that. So now you got to ask yourself, what gives you the authority to say it? What are you connecting yourself to? What source are you connecting yourself to? So therefore, when you step out there and you present yourself, how are you presenting yourself? What are you doing? What are the codes and mores that you have of your own community? If you don't have one, you got to start looking at, well, who the heck is making me do the things that I'm doing? Because somebody wants you to do something. And it's either going to be for your benefit or it's for their benefit. And we already know that anything that this society is giving you is complete garbage. Basura.
It goes back to that define your culture, or a culture will be provided for you. Which one do you want? Do you want to have your own culture, or do you want to have your a culture that's been given to you, that's been doing nothing but feeding off you? You know, it also goes back and going back to what you were saying also about like going through the dirt and going through the sewage from the Shawshank, using the Shawshank Redemption analogy, is that when the sun comes out, man, it shows the path that you've taken. It shows the dirt that you've gone through. It shows the light that you've gone through, the things that you've seen that actually worked. And taking that time to personally do that self-inventory, as Chief was speaking, to go back and see what was working, what wasn't working, and getting rid of the things that you shedding some of the things that you did, you know what I'm saying, that didn't work, and using the things that you are working with is one of the things that this time of the year is very important for, you know, and it's helping, it should help you move forward with a lot of things that you're doing. So.
You know, and as you just were saying, it just made me think of it. When you start to look at the seasons, you start to, again, that gives you a chance to start to look at the things you've been doing and the things that's working where you can start to do more of, and the things that haven't been working where you can start to now itemize your stuff. You take inventory over your life, and you say, hold up, okay, let me look at this, break it down, write it down, and see what direction needs to move. Because there's going to be an ebb and flow to everything. There's a time to move, there's a time to chill. And you start to see, you find your own ebb and flow of, okay, this is what I need to do, because things move how and when you say they should move. So don't get into this whole thing of I'm waiting for the solstice, or I'm waiting for the spring equinoxes when I'm going to actually step out and do it. There's no right time to do something. There's no divine. This is when you should actually start to move and revolutionize your life. This is when you should actually start to do something. No, you should start to do it now. There's no better time than present. That's that old, there's like a meme or something that goes, you know, the 3 C's of life. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. So you're either going to sit there and keep waiting for somebody else to do it, and you can keep waiting and say, and I'm going to wait. Like my grandma said, just wait, because we're going to get to this blissful afterlife on the other side once we just hold steadfast. Hold on to God's never changing hand. I'm going to hold on. You're going to keep holding on, and ain't nothing going to get done. You have to be that person now. You have to be that Eshu. You have to be that Oshun. You have to be that Urzuli Freda. You have to be those things. But in order for you to be those things, you have to study those things. You have to make a relationship. That's a journey you have. That's what the alchemist was all about. That's a journey that you have to go on to discover yourself. And then when he finally met the alchemist, and he had to talk to the saint, he had to make a relationship with the saint. He had to talk to the wind. We had to make a relationship with the wind. I can't just ask you to do something if I don't have a relationship with you. I just can't. I don't know the process, or I don't know what you are all about if I don't know you. I have to get to know you. I have to build a relationship with you. And then all of a sudden, but how many people just get out, you go down to a shrine and you say, okay, I need this. I'm gonna fry up something and some cayenne pepper. I'm gonna throw some rocks in there, and I need some money. Money ritual, come to me now. And bam, it don't work like that. You don't ask somebody to do something for you who don't know you. And so you would build a relationship. Now all of a sudden you start to see, well, I can only do so much. I only have so much, but you have to, again, go back into that amun, that hidden aspect inside of you to see, you're the one that's going to command this. You're the one that's going to evolve this. That's what your process, that's what you came down here for. What's to evolve? What's to get better? What's to show, you know what? Let me show you something that you couldn't see at that point. We're going to go with, this is another step of the evolution. I see what you do. I didn't know I could do that. Cool. And then you protect the ones coming after you, because then when you hand it over, then you, okay, now this is how far I've taken it. Let's see what you can do with it. And then but you have to go on that journey. You have to put that work in. And if you don't put that work in, well, then you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So you tell the youngsters these days, and when I used to substitute teaching little kids, man, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So just don't complain. Don't quit crying and they doing this and they doing that. What do you do? And if you're not doing nothing, if you're not wanting to change, if you're not
The free conference call number you are dialing will be changed.
Do we live to become completely corrupted in life, or more divine to balance with nature? As my days and nights move forward, I constantly ask myself what it all means and why is life like this? This is a part of me that thinks the world is completely disagreeable, and the other side that pushes forward to experience a different reality. Moreover, we got an echo. Reality, moreover, a part to wishes to leave, and a part that remains to build a better way for my children and family. The question is asked simply, but the answer is vast and in the dark for me. This is a part of my soul is shedding, like a snake that has outgrown its skin. And then I put my salutations. And the statement, you know, was just like, what is it all worth? What at this point gives you not only just the authority, but gives you your divine purpose? You know, why are you here? What are you doing? And it goes back to what Brother Zach was saying, is like, you know, understanding your place where you're at, and knowing what you want, not just money, but what is greater than money, what is greater than the things that are occurring in your basic survival situations that are coming up. What's greater? What's helping you evolve? You know, where are you evolving to? Knowing this life purpose helps answer that question, is what is it all worth? You know, knowing that you have children that not only are going to be representatives of you when you pass, they're going to be taking the authority that you've brought forward and taking that and running there. So, you know, it's good to know that, you know, it's good to know your life purpose. You should be in line with your life purpose. Everything that you do from sun up to sundown should be working on your life purpose. You rejuvenate at night, so when you wake up, you should know, should be in line with yourself, in tune with yourself, to know that, okay, this is also part. Being in that present form, I'm doing presently, I'm doing things that are in line with my life purpose.
You know, and when you made me think of, when you brought the snake, you just made mention of, and it made me think of that Damballa aspect, you know. Mm-hmm. And again, how does a snake shed its skin? Well, a snake sheds its skin by being flexible and being mobile. Those are two key pieces. So once you start to look at that, and you start to see the fluidity of a snake, and how is anybody going to start to move and manifest what they want to in life, you have to be flexible and you have to be mobile. So things are not always going to go the way you want them to go. Things are not always going to work out the way you feel like they should work out. This is what it has to be, and if it's not this, then I'm just going to give up. You got to be flexible. But then at the same time, don't get stuck there on trying to figure out the problem, or just get focused on the problem, because that's that saying that goes, he who focuses on the irritation of an itch will surely scratch themselves to the bone. So if you keep focusing on the irritation of what is bothering you, or what is the problem, if you keep focusing on it and you're not moving, then you're gonna stay stuck. You're gonna be stagnant, and you're gonna get left behind. And at the same time, that's that I keep always going back to that, is that when Silverback says move, you move. Now you're either gonna stay down there and get stuck with the jackals and let them just carry you up, or you're gonna start to move to higher ground. But again, you have to be flexible and you have to be mobile. It's on you or what you want to do. So I thought that was very key pieces you just dropped right there, brother, on about the snake.
Thank you. And even going further on to the snake, remember the snake eats his tail. You know, meaning that it's going to eat its body. It's going to eat its body again. So meaning that you're going to ingest and take in everything that you've gone to get to this point. You feel me? So when you get to this point, and whatever you need to nourish yourself is going to stay in your stomach and stay in your body and nourish you for the mission ahead. And whatever you don't need, that comes out the back end. So think about that, man. You know, those aspects of the serpent in the sun. And, you know, you even Chief even did a show on that, the serpent in the sun. If you look at that and just think about how you're moving through this time and where you're heading towards, and once again doing that inventory and taking what you need and getting rid of the things that you don't need no more. It's not useful. It's not serving you or your family anymore. You know, those are the things that comes out the back end, and the new skin, the new body that's being created it will move into the next form of creation yearly. So,
you know, can I interject something in here, brothers, please?
Please, Chief.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, you two have been hitting some magnificent points in regard. In fact, you're bringing back to my own remembrance the segments, because I didn't remember half the stuff you was talking about. So it's good. It's good to hear it back, you know, sometimes too, you know. So I'm appreciative just of that, man. Walk through memory lane. You know, there's something that I think is important to acknowledge, and even the two of you speaking, and perhaps maybe the distinction with yourselves and other folks. Sometimes when we're taking in certain information, it's not very difficult for us to digest it and process it and assimilate it and begin to apply it because of our current standing in life, you know. And like, as you're saying that, yeah, a lot of people will sit around the information and choose not to apply, and then whine and gripe later. Usually the whining and griping revolves around blaming whoever it was who was teaching you. That's how it usually goes. So if you sit underneath my teachings and you choose not to apply them, and your life doesn't change, or it gets worse because now you're more accountable for your actions because you know better, then instead of saying, I'm more accountable, my life got worse, you'll say, this is Chief's fault. Everything was fine before I met Chief. You know, now you begin to play with the illusion that everything was fine, and you just came around someone like me because you just felt like it, not because your life was in shambles. So a lot of times there's a distinction that should be made between those who are fulfilled and those who are unfulfilled. I think when it comes to yourselves and a couple other folks, of course, who are consistently present, and more importantly, who are consistently giving, the very giving that you all do is a sign of your health, because you're not looking for every moment to give to you. You made an example earlier about going to a shrine and immediately saying, hey, give me this or give me that. And of course, it doesn't work that way, because you're coming so unfulfilled already that that's the vibration that you're amplifying. So it's the same thing. Like, I've seen comments on some of the sessions where people have said, you know, I wish Chief would just get to the point, or this or that, you know, or any, you know, honestly, any type of critique on a free offering has to be taken with a grain of salt. You know, I'd be honest. And I know you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say, no, I welcome all comments, but let's just talk like real people. You know, if somebody's giving you something for free, you know, just shut up and take it. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. And if it's not the exact way you want, then say, listen, I don't like the way you did that segment or that show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sponsor your next episode. I'm going to pay you to do it the way I want you to do it. That's how that happens in the real world. But, you know, we have people who, instead of paying, and when I'm speaking about themselves personally, instead of paying yourself or paying the constituents that would make you a fulfilled person, whatever that currency is, it could be exercising. You know, you don't like how you look, you don't like your current state of health, but you won't work out. So you go through the world feeling unfulfilled, feeling insecure, feeling, I wish someone would find me attractive. I wish I could have a mate, this, that, and the third. And so now anyone you meet, you come with in a place of, you come with a need. It's like a sucking energy that people can feel coming off of you as soon as you come into the room. So it's the same thing when you go into your shrines, as the brother was mentioning earlier. You have that pulling that's already, before you open your mouth, you're already pulling and sucking. Gimme, 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 gimme. And you're not giving anything because you're not fulfilled. It's very similar to, and I'm sure you all can relate to this, especially probably in your younger years. You notice the boldness that we would always feel when it came to the complementary sex if we were with our friends. Like fellas, if you're hanging out with a bunch of your guy friends and you go somewhere and there's ladies around, you feel more bold to go up and approach and say little things or whatever when your fellas are around, right? More so than when you're by yourself. And you've noticed women to do the same thing because in those moments, they feel fulfilled. I got my friends around me. We're having fun. Whether this person accepts me or rejects me, I'm still going to have my friends here and I'm still going to be having fun tonight. We're still going to go see this movie or this concert or walk around the mall, whatever it is that we're doing, but I'm fulfilled right now in my life. And that sense of fulfillment creates a leaning towards enjoying the moment or being in the moment. So even if you're getting turned down, you will come back and laugh and joke with your friends about how you got turned down or why you got turned down. And that becomes a part of the enjoyment of the moment, But a lot of people are coming into these different systems of learning and they're so unfulfilled that they don't allow themselves to be in the moment. They only hurry up and give me my fix. Chief, hurry up and say something deep that will prick a nerve inside of me and make me cry so I can get my fix, or will make me go, wow, and take me out of the body of my misery for a moment. Because there's such a sense of unfulfillment there outside of any of these experiences. And some folks don't realize, let me bring down my WhatsApp. It seems like every time I come and help on a show, Nigeria starts reaching out. But yeah, I know.
I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you back soon. They call you back like 500 times within an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I can't say that. If I say that, they'd be right back to back. Bye bye. So yeah, a lot of people are coming in so unfulfilled, and that's why a lot of you are having trouble starting. Like, the self-starting aspect, you're having trouble getting things off the ground because you're coming in with such a taker's mentality. You're trying to take other people's happiness. When you hear Zach, for instance, whenever he gets on, always high energy, whether he's having a great day or not, but it's always like, I'm here now. He's happy to be in this spot, to be doing what he's doing. If you listen to Anwar, he told you already he's a happy-go-lucky type of guy, so he already let us know. But you see that you're dealing with individuals who are enjoying the skin they're in, and they're enjoying the space they're in, and it comes off. When you listen to Charles, the same thing. Charles loves it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you two examples: Charles and Byron. These are two men who love their family. Their families are their religion. They love it. There's never going to be a time when you're going to have a conversation, maybe not publicly on the air, but you're going to sit down and have a conversation with Charles or Byron, and they're not going to bring up their children or their wife. They love their families, man. Their families are their ultimate religion. And it gives them their greatest sense of fulfillment, their families. So when they come into any environment like Anu or anywhere else, they come in with a heart to give already, because they're overflowing with the overabundance of that fulfillment that they already have. You see, if you don't have that, all of this becomes very difficult. So when you hear the brothers saying things like, just, apply it, just get into it. And for some of you, I know, and this is why I'm jumping in and interjecting, because I know a lot of you. I know in your mind, it's like, but how do I do that? How do I just apply it? And I still don't have this, and I still don't have that. because you're still coming in with that sense of lack and that sense of, like the brother said earlier, entitlement. You know, chief is on, chief make me feel good. You know, you're doing the Holly Berry thing, make me feel good. You know, do this, take me to this place, take me to that place. Or you want to see us perform. Like y'all love when y'all think I'm going off. I never go off. I would never go off in public like that. And I don't care about anything enough that we're talking about to actually go off. You just think I do. So you say, oh, chief going off tonight, cursing so and so out, this and that. No, I'm not. You know, but that becomes your food because you need that to prick you and to feed you. You become vampirical and parasitical in that sense, you see. So what you have to deal with first is fulfilling yourself. Start there before you roam around the streets looking for somebody to give you a foot massage. And every person you meet, the underlying agenda is, I'm going to see they give me a foot massage. Give yourself a foot massage. Start there. Fulfill yourself. And then after you fulfill yourself, these experiences and the things that the brothers are teaching about will make more sense. And then you'll be able to be what we call a more supportive presence. See, some of you can't get things off the ground because you're not surrounded by supportive presence. You know, for instance, thank you, Forbes, by the way. Thank you, Charles. We're breaking up. It should be fixed now. But for instance, you know, when you look at it should be clear now. Thank you. When you look at the idea of a community, you know, and trying to do things within for a community, there has to be a supportive presence within that community so that people know where they stand within it. Okay, I know you guys said it was breaking up earlier, but I haven't gotten any of the "you're not breaking up now" notices.
You're clear, Chief. You're clear now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So what I'm saying is that when you're looking at it, there has to be a supportive presence. So for instance, if we have elders in the community and we're supposed to see them as such, who's present to make sure that those elders know that they're elders? Right? If there's no community in essence, then you have no elder. You might have an old person walking down the street, whatever, but there has to be a community that signifies who the elder is. If you have no elders in the community, how are the children ever assured inside of the community? You see, so when a child wants to jump out and when you want to jump out and do something wild, it's the silence of your grandparents, because your grandparents and your great grands and your great uncles and granduncles and aunts, they have a silent assurity that they offer without saying a word that make you feel secure within your space. You see, if you don't have a community, you won't have those elders. If you don't have those elders, those children won't feel that level of boldness. You see, we haven't even spoke about the warrior class or the peer class. So if people are not coming in with a sense of fulfillment or striving to fulfill themselves, and then coming into the environment and saying, okay, I'm going to build this community or help to build this community, and this is the post that I'm going to serve, then the symbiotic relationships that are supposed to be present, where people are giving each other a certain supportive presence, which then further gives them a hope towards life. Because that's what happens. You know, when you see each other in their rightful places, you get a different kind of hope towards your own life. And when we see that as an adult class and we feel that strong sense of presence, what happens is there's an interdependency that's formed. If you don't have those things present, if you're not striving to have those things present, so little of these things that are being taught are going to work for you. So little of them. You know, you're already coming in unfulfilled. I want somebody to rub my feet. I want somebody to make me feel good. But you won't do it for yourself. You won't make yourself feel good. You won't rub your own feet. You won't go and just pay $100 and buy yourself the massage chair. You know, well, hey, maybe I don't have a lover to massage my back. I'll buy the chair, you know. But you won't do the things for yourself that will begin to fulfill you and flesh you out back into your happiness. You won't do any of that stuff, and you're looking for every person you meet to be the fulfillment, and people can't give it to you like that. You know, and when you take too much of it, you drain them and they don't want you around them anymore. You see? So then what do? You go back into your shrine, to your Orisha. Oshun, make me happy. Shango, make me happy. It's still that same sense of pulling, whereas you're being given the tools for self-fulfillment. And if you're not striving towards that self-fulfillment, then nothing works, because your approach is always imbalanced after that, and you don't even think about forming community. That doesn't even come into the periphery of your thoughts, that there could be a community. And in order for certain strengths and hopes and aspirations to be present, the community has to be present. So therefore, that's a critical piece. It's not extracurricular. I gotta have the community, especially as I get older and I want to be recognized as an elder, because there's certain things I need as an old person that I won't get if I'm not an elder. You know what I mean? Then heck, I gotta have a community, because only communities acknowledge elders. You see, so it's a cycle of things. And then you say, well, hey, I want my children to feel encouraged. I want them to feel strong. You know, even when you were a child and you brought music and stuff to your grandparents, they might not have understood what you was doing, or, hey, I like this song by so-and-so. They didn't want to hear that crap. But they listened to it and said, oh, that's nice, baby. That's nice. You know, and that gave you that sense of hope towards life, that there was a place that you fit in, that there was a place where your expression fit in, where somebody could pat you on the back and say, that's nice. You know, you didn't know how corny you really were. And sometimes that's what elders do for you. You know? So yeah, I just wanted to interject that piece. I know it was a big piece, but for those listening and like, but they making it sound so easy. The reason why it's easier for them, because you're listening to people who are fulfilled in their lives. They're comfortable in their skin. There's a difference.
Yep. I want to add experience onto what you just said too. Is I went to a music conference just this past week, and I've gone to a lot of music conferences in my career, and most of them have always been in the mindset is that I'm going to go there to do this. I'm going to go there and take this. I'm going to go there and take this. This time I went there, and I just went there for the experience. And I got more conversations with good people than I have ever had, because I was there to not only just give, because I was over there taking pictures and helping promote the experience, and I was also there just to be in the present and to see what was going on and see what people were doing and learn and be able to receive the proper things I needed to be at that place. And it goes down to what Chief was talking about. It's like you got to have a sense of fulfillment to walk into something and be able to see the things that are there, see the rewards that are being given, and also give out rewards to the people that are in the community. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense.
You know, and when I was just thinking of that, and it was like being able to give yourself your own foot massage. What that's going to do now is help you to start to have some compassion. And compassion is now, for me, is just being able to see things through a different lens, or through what somebody else is doing. But you first have to go through it. And then all of a sudden you can know, you know what, I know what you're going through because I was once there. I had to fight myself. I had to do this myself. And not saying that you're doing it by yourself, because you get it from this enlightenment transformation, and you're working on it. And this is a process. So even if one might say, oh, look at listen to Brother Anwar, Brother Charles, or even me, this was a process to get here. I came in and Chief, oh, Jesus, Chief, brother, I'm telling you, every time I just give thanks. That's from the bottom of my heart. I just give thanks, because when you come in, and he basically, he's very patient. Well, even though y'all may feel like he's not, the brother is very patient, but as he always says, the more you give, the more he's going to give, and he's always going to be looking to see, okay, what are you willing to give? Again, that even comes back to the summer solstice. Is as you send some, you got to be able to receive some. But so, are you listening and are you giving at the same time, or are you just taking? And if you just take it, well, then here, you eat some of this garbage and then go over there and sit down. But if you're going to give, then he's going to give as well. And as you keep building yourself, you're going to get that fulfillment because you're going to start to figure out your place. You're going to start to stand tall on your square. And you're going to be even inspired. You say, okay, and then you're going to start to look and say, I have more compassion for other people because it wasn't easy for me. And you still fight. There's going to be more battles as you keep going. But you know what? Those are hurdles that I've gotten over. Let me try to help you get over. But you're going to have to go through it. But if you don't want to go through, then ain't nothing ever going to change. So, yeah, you might have to sit down. There ain't nobody going to be around. Let me give myself this foot rub. Or let me spend this couple dollars that I got to go ahead and get some information. Let me not just sit here and complain and say, you know what, she gets to the point. No, there's a process that has to go on. You just can't give somebody something because then that's that entitlement mentality. But if I start to break this down, as if you go back and listen to the shows, there's a flow to this. There's some work and some energy putting into this where somebody is, I'm going to take you through a journey to get you to where you need to be. But if you skip steps trying to get there, then it's not going to work. Now, you can skip steps going back down the steps, but you can't skip steps going up because you start to see the people who have skipped steps going up, then they just start saying any and everything that they want to say. Again, even not having those elders in the community to say, hold on, man, who told you to speak? Who told you can get up and you got something to say? Because now you're leading people again, chasing their own tail. You're running around in a circle and you're not going anywhere. And you're looking at this person like, who told you can grab the mic? Mm-hmm. But then now there's a process. You have to put that work in. And don't get up there and have this entitlement taker's mentality that, nah, give me this and give me that. No, sit down and learn. Sit down and grab it, grasp the root of it, and then all of a sudden now we can start to build something from there. But if the root is not, if you don't have a solid foundation, if you're not building on a solid square, then guess what? It's not going to go nowhere. And then you're going to have those times when all of a sudden, or as you could say, that chip is going to activate, and it's going to come back online, and somebody invites you back to your church. Or somebody, you go back into this environment and say, oh, yeah, no, I'm a blame chief. I'm a blame Enlightenment. I'm a blame whoever. I'm going to get that blame thrower out and saying, oh, you're the one that's why nothing's working. You're the one why nothing, because you didn't take that time and take that process to do what you needed to do to get done what needed to get done. So it's now easier for you to blame somebody else instead of looking at yourself and saying, okay, where did I slip up? Where did I go wrong? And even reaching out to a chief or reaching out to your community and saying, you know what, y'all may be able to see that small spot on my back that I cannot see myself. And I can't see it. So when y'all point it out, then that's something that I need to work on. But instead, when you point it out, I'm going to sit there and turn around, well, you got this problem and you got that problem. And you can start to look at it. What do you feed? What's the diet that you're feeding your mind on a day in and day out basis? What are you watching every day on TV that you start to say, you know what, that promotes this behavior? That now all of a sudden when I come into a community, I'm trying to bring my sickness that I have over into this community. And when you have a solid community like I knew, well, now all of a sudden, no, don't bring that over here. Now all of a sudden you want to fight and combat it and kick and scream because that ego now steps up and says, no, there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with everybody in here, so let's blame everybody in here. But, you know, that's the thing, that's the process that you got to go through, because if you don't go through that process, you don't start shedding them layers, again, going back to the month of January, then, it's going to be easy for you to step up and fight it. It's going to be easy for you to sit there and say, oh, yeah, well, some of these brothers got it or some of these sisters got it who's in the community and I don't got it. Well, then now, you know, and I see I find that offensive because that's a lot of work that goes into working on yourself. But when somebody sits there and does that and says something like that, you haven't done nothing, screw you.
Right.
Like, do you understand what the work is that somebody goes through to not only fix themselves, but then now gives you the information so you can help yourself as well, because we know the greatest self-preservation is group preservation. So I'm going to now give it to the group, but then you're going to now try to bring your sickness in and grab somebody else's coattail and have them try to pull you up with them. So now they're carrying the weight of their own problem, and now I got to carry your problem as well? No, you got to put your own work in. I'm not doing that. And that's the only way that a strong community can exist. And if you don't have this community, you don't start doing that on work, you're already seeing that the leaders don't work. They just take out the leader, and then everybody disperses. And now, and the way the mind works, it's going to follow something. Where are you going to go again? So until you start building up strong communities, which is building up strong individuals, then you can start to have a greater group self-preservation. But if you don't have that, then it's just not going to work.
You know, and there's a point to that, man. Very very solid points you're hitting there, brother Zach. Um, that I said very long time ago in the segment. I think I only said it once, but I thought about it recently. I heard someone really tearing down. There's a guy who has a I guess, or you know, I always say movement because I consider I knew a movement, but I don't know if he what he considers his thing. But he's got I guess an organization that he started out of the country, and he's brought a lot of people. Well, I don't know if it's a lot, but he's brought some people down to where he's living, and they're kind of living off the grid and doing some things. And there's one of his members, his key members, I guess, who was he was also intimately involved with, left recently. You know, they had a falling out, and this person then got on YouTube, of course, and highlighted all the things that's wrong with the individual. You know, and he's like this. Y'all don't know this about him, and he's this way, and he's egotistical and narcissistic, and you know, and he's abusive and this and that. And I stumbled across it, and I said, you know, it's so deep how quick people are to destroy something that someone else has built because they have a personal issue with them. It's so deep how we see that so often. But the thing that really crossed through my mind, and I said this a while ago on the show once, you know, one of the reasons I don't talk about other people's stuff, you know, even though I may not agree with, and even this guy, I don't necessarily agree with the things he says, but he's doing something, you know. And the thing about it is, after you finish destroying someone else's movement, what are you going to do in replace of it for the people who were there who were in need? You know, it's just a very selfish thing. It's like you may have a church in your neighborhood that, you know, maybe it's one of those large churches. Maybe they got 1,000, 1,500 members in the church, and you know, they feed the poor. Maybe they have a soup kitchen they run every day, and then they have a food pantry, you know, where they open that up twice a month, and they, you know, they give low income people some food. They do clothing drives, so forth and so on. And you find out something about the pastor. The pastor stole some money, or you know, the pastor's cheating on his wife, and you know, you say, well, I'm gonna expose this. Maybe you the one who he was cheating with. So now you hit the press, and you got to let everybody know how foul this pastor is. But are you considering all of the different systems that are sitting on this individual's back that are going to fall because of your issue you had with the person? So a lot of times when you have people sitting on the sidelines saying, well, why am I not at that level? Why am I not there? Why is that person having it and I don't have it? You know, there's a certain corruptness and corrosiveness that lives in the heart of a person like that. These are dangerous people. The shortcut microwave people, they're dangerous. I've experienced them over the years in the work that I do, and I didn't know how dangerous they were until I got a little older and seen enough organizations fall down to the dirt. Good organizations that could have done some great things in the community being taken out by individuals who the only way they could see their power manifested was to destroy. Because some people, that's how they gauge their power. If I'm a powerful person and I build a strong movement and another person can destroy that movement, then the other person who destroyed it will say, then I'm just as powerful as you are because I destroyed what you built. They won't say, let me build something else equally as large. They don't think like that. They'll say, I'm going to destroy yours. You see? And then what's left with the people? You see? So it's always a very interesting thing, and I think it's sad, and it's one of the things that we need to be mindful of a lot of times. Yeah, I see a lot of funny stuff out there when I sometimes, you know, and some of these people I know, some of these people reach out to me for readings who have these organizations. You know, I keep privacy, of course, but yeah, some of the stuff is funny, and I don't agree with it, and things like that. But if you're doing something and it's helping, you know, stay out of the way. If people are really helping people and you know, it may not be to the level that you think, but what have you built? I had to say that to somebody recently. You know, it kind of just came out of my mouth. They were talking some nonsense to me, and I had to say, what have you built? What do you have? You know, like There's so many people who will sit on the sidelines and critique. Why won't you do it this way? Why won't you do this? Why don't you go do something? You know, you couldn't get a damn kitten to follow you to a litter box, let alone 200-300 people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people have so much critique in that sense, you know, as far as what you should be doing or why am I not at the level that you're at. And a lot of times they don't want to take that microscope and turn it inward and really think about their motivations. Do you really have a heart for the people? You've heard me say that so many times. Do you truly have a heart for the people? Do you truly want to see people do better? And a lot of the folks that I know who are out here saying they're doing something, they don't give a damn about the people. I mean, not just, yeah, some of the information may be good, but you could tell they don't give a damn. Like they wouldn't care if their people did better one iota as long as they can keep getting that paper. So they're going to give you things. It's just like the medical industry. I'm going to give you things that keep you sick. If you look, there was something that you said earlier about, I don't know, just kind of, I don't remember. It was something you said earlier in regards to the garbage that this society gives you. And if you think about what Carter G. Woodson said, he said people in power will never give things to the people who they hold power over to strip that power from them. So that was Carter G. Woodson. You know, if you're familiar with him, if you're not, you should get familiar. But it's the same thing here. So people are going to keep giving you this redundant information that takes you nowhere because they don't give a damn about you. I see some of the titles to these videos sometimes, you know, biochemical psychotropic agendas. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. Seriously? You know what I'm saying? Seriously? Spiritual, psychological, astral stardust. Broken, exposed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm like, yo, y'all got to realize this is snake oil. You know, how much of this can you actually apply? How much of this would you ever apply? And you're listening to someone who doesn't give a damn about you. They could care less about you. Nothing. Not one iota, zip, nothing. At least I could look at somebody like a Dr. Africa or Dr. Sebi, and he will tell you, eat the banana. Don't eat the banana. You know, because, of course, Dr. Sebi was always going back and forth. But at least he's giving you something, you know, eat the broccoli, eat the kale. He's giving you something that you can use right now. Drink more. Well, Dr. Sebi's thing was don't eat. Don't eat. You're sick, stop eating. You know, but he's giving you stuff that you can apply right now. You can tell right there straight off the gate there's some concern and love for his people. You see, but when you got people just talking about jogging around the rings of Saturn all day, yeah, you know, we're going to go to Saturn. We're going to jog around the rings of Saturn. Yeah, and we're going to smoke stardust and dark matter. We're going to snort dark matter. You know, they don't care nothing about you, man. You know, I'm going to keep it real. They don't care nothing about you. And like I've told you guys many a times, I could nerd out on you all day. Trust me, I can nerd out on you. I could go hyper mystical on you all day. I can do that. And I'm good at it. Trust me, because that's the information I find a bit more interesting. The you know, physics and quantum mechanics and even, you know, I know mythology all day. I could keep you going with the mythology. But ultimately, that's not what you need right now. That's not what's really going to fulfill you right now. That's just what's going to give you a fix and keep you in that unfulfilled mode where you're constantly pulling from one another, constantly pulling and feeding off of each other like your food matter, you know, like your Soylent Green. You know, you just can't get anywhere like that. And I have to tell you this, you know, you have to use the opportunities like now to really take some strong and real inventory about what you want to do and what you want to be. You know, and even like as the brothers were speaking earlier in terms of the roles of men and women, man, sit down and really think about that sometime. Because a lot of what we've been handed, like I explained earlier, is toxic anyway. We need to reevaluate. This is why I said that in the intro, that little thing when I was having a conversation on the air and we took that little sound bite. It's time for a new conversation. So it is time for a new conversation on the role of men, on the role of women, on the role of children. It's time for some new talk around that. And We can always go back to the 40s and the 50s and say, well, we had families back then. You had European families back then in blackface. That's why them joints didn't last. We always want to go back to our grandparents and our great-grandparents. Well, they stayed together. Yeah, but it was inevitable that it was going to implode upon itself because it was not based upon values that actually worked for us. Yeah, your grandparents stayed together and they sat up in church all day waiting for Jesus to come back. But they still together. You see? So at some point, we're going to have to take some real inventory and ask ourselves some honest questions, even in regards to how it comes to having children. Do you really even want children? And if you do want children, how many children do you want? And do you want to raise them? You know, like let's have some real talk about that. And I know those are difficult conversations to have because there's so much shame that exists based on the structure that we've already in many ways rejected. So we already shameful. Sunday morning comes, you driving by, everybody going to church, you got on sweatpants. And I'm sure there's a little sting there a little bit sometimes, like, oh man, I hope they don't see me. I hope they don't ask me what church I belong to or this or that. So you're already dealing with that. Then somebody like me says, do you really even want to have children? Keep it real. You know, or when do you really want to have children? Or like I said, do you want to really raise your children or do you just want to have them to ensure your legacy? You know, and is there a place for any of that kind of thinking and not only our old culture, but in the new culture that we need? You see, is there a place for any of that? And is some of the stuff that we're already doing, are we already playing out some of that stuff, but in an illegitimate fashion? Like when people talk about polygamy, which again, I will reiterate, I'm not a polygamist, but when people talk about polygamy and they say, I'm against polygamy, I've heard so many women say that I'm against polygamy, but you know your man got a side chick. And then I'll ask about that. Well, as long as I don't have to see it. Okay. Well, it's not polygamy, right? Because polygamy is multiple marriage, but you are sharing your man. So why not just have an honest conversation about it? You see what I'm saying? So there's so many things that we're doing and we're doing it halfway and lopsided that if we could just have some real talk about it, you'd be surprised what kind of structures you may set around it. You know, there's a lot of people who are too old to have children or they're barren that would love to have to help you raise your children and family up with you and partner up with you. Because you might be like, I'm not really that good at this child rearing thing. I know one never taught me. I came from a dysfunctional home. I don't really know what to do. Let me be honest about that. And then you might have somebody who's 60 years old and say, well, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna have any more babies right now, but I do know what to do. So maybe we can form some type of alliance here because I still want to raise babies. You see, I know these sound like crazy ideas, but you know, necessity is the mother of invention. And at some point, we got to wake up to see that we are in a place of need. That's the only difference between us and some of the other groups that come to America and thrive. They know they need each other. They know that they don't have paperwork. They can't get welfare. They can't get food stamps. They can't do any of those things because of their legal status. So they recognize they need and they work around it. It's the only difference. Well, you got the same kind of need. You got to start having some honest conversation with yourself and being truthful about what you can handle from what you can't.
That's real powerful, Chief. That's real powerful. That's a marker right there. That's a real marker. You know, kind of going back in what we were talking about, and it brought back the concept of the mountain. And Chief being further along in the mountain than some of us. And as he's climbing up the mountain, he's leaving markers for us to get to. And just in the conversation alone between that we're having, Chief, Zach, and me, I'm looking at the marker Zach just left. And Zach's looking at the marker that Chief just left. And we're all taking in the information because we're all standing on the ground, climbing and doing the work as we're climbing this mountain. You know, it's just that, you know, I think that's something we got to highlight inside of our community is everybody has their place and where they're at in their journey, but all of us are also giving back enough to leave that marker so the next person behind us or below us can step to that next place where we were. So, you know, it's I'm listening, like sitting back listening to the conversation. I'm seeing how that works here. Hopefully everybody else does.
And you know what's deep, Brother Anwar? There's gonna come a time where there's no one behind us. You know, like the idea that we have that there always will be, that we'll always be climbing somewhere, and that there'll still always be somebody lost, is a fleeting reality that we also have to pay attention to. You know, like this cycle that we have in the conscious community that we always gonna be, gotta wake my people up, gotta wake my people up. You got a time period to do that. You know, it's like when the most honorable Elijah Muhammad came, he said, after me, there'll be no other. Well, I think he was right. So far, so far he was right. You know, and we could look at a lot of other folks who have come, and yeah, I mean, we saw that we are seeing the last of certain things. You were seeing the last of certain things, you know, whether it be the geniuses of our culture, you know, or whether it just be those great leaders and those great movers and shakers. We're seeing the last of them. So to have this idea that certain things are always going to be present is foolish. I archive every one of these shows myself because I do not think that YouTube is always going to be accessible to us. 1, 2, I do not think that the internet is always going to be accessible to us. I think there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to get on the internet. You know, I think there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to listen to information like I give and feel safe. It's going to be classified as a different kind of propaganda, and you're going to say, you know what? I don't need that drama. I'd rather leave it alone. Even down to some of the books that you download on Amazon digitally. I don't think anything is going to be here forever. You see? So even the paradigm that we currently have that we're very comfortable with, where we're soaking up all this conscious information, but in the meantime, we're like, yeah, I'm soaking it up, but you know, I just ain't ready for that because I still like acting ghetto. I still like being ratchet. I don't think it's going to be here for you forever for you to be able to do those things. I really don't. You know, because the very people who created those systems, who let's look at it like this and get you a little harder. The very systems who created the systems that designed the nigga, they're tired of the nigga. The nigga has outlived its purpose at this point. You see? So now it's just lock the nigga up. And then it comes to a point where, you know what? The money that we make on the nigga locked up ain't even worth it anymore. Let's just kill the nigga off because we needed it to do what it did. We're done with that because we've industrialized at this point. So we don't need the nigga to bring up cotton production. We don't need the nigga to bring up tobacco production at this point anymore. All of that stuff has been industrialized. You know, we took back over the plumbing guilds and the ironsmithing guilds. You know, we took all those guilds back over. We don't need the nigga like we used to need the nigga. I'm just keeping it real with you, man. So at some point, you got to kind of look at the writing on the wall, and like the brothers are saying, like, hey, all this is in front of you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? And like Brother Anwar said, we leaving some breadcrumbs, and, you know, all of that stuff is there. The breadcrumbs are there, but there has to be something burning inside of you to know that it's that sasa. You have uhuru, which is freedom. And then sometimes you'll hear Uhuru Sasa. That's Kiswahili. Sasa means now. Uhuru Sasa, freedom now. There has to be something burning in you to recognize that this is a now time thing. You see, how could you be comfortable in the middle of a battlefield? What kind of idiot are you? You building a cabin in the middle of a goddamn battlefield. And then wondering why somebody comes along with a gun when your child comes out on the front porch to sit and shoot your child down. Oh Lord, they shot another one of our baby. Nigga, you in the middle of a battlefield. What do you expect to happen? You see, because you get so comfortable so quick because we're not a people of memory. We're people of emotion. So once he gets shot down, all I got to do is call Donnie McClurkin or Twinkie Clark or Kiera Clark to come sing a song and do some runs and some riffs and sing all over the gravesite and make us feel like it's going to be better in the by and by in a minute. Because we're not a people of memory. We make things way more difficult than they need be, and then we walk through life lifeless. Y'all people who not from New York, you want to know why we so messed up that Prodigy just died? And I know y'all know what I'm talking about because it's been all over the social media. Prodigy from Mobb Deep. Not only was he a profound lyricist, not only did he carve out the sound of New York or help to carve out the sound of New York. Let me say that. But Prodigy represented all of us in New York who are cold and heartless and do anything just for a come up. That's why you notice, I mean, he had a lot of ridiculous lyrics, but they keep playing that same Shook Ones video. They keep playing that back to back. For all my killers and my $100 billers, for all my real niggas who ain't got no feelings. They keep playing that line over and over and over again. Because he represented those of us at that time period, mid to early 90s, who was just walking around looking lifeless. Look at hip hop posters from back then. Nas and all, everybody had these dark circles under their eyes, skull caps, gold teeth, blunts, just looking skinny, hunched over, and lifeless, like they was ready to die. You see? So what I'm saying is that there's a certain spirit, man, that you got to understand is going on around you, and a lot of you guys are missing it. And for those of you who are missing, you're just gonna stay here and get effed up. You're gonna continue to get effed up, and that's probably your destiny to get effed up. You're the decoy. We supposed to play manhunt around you and dip dodge. You like an obstacle course. You just decoy. You see, but I'm not into it. I'm not gonna keep telling you, hey man, listen to this information and F that. If you don't have the fire burning inside of you, if you don't recognize the real, then you know, you're the ones who's meant to be down here on a goddamn FEMA camp. Because you're damn near on a FEMA camp now. Anything you have, every 30 days, you're being threatened that's going to be taken back away from you anyway. You damn near on a citizen work camp now. Can't even leave your area. Can't even move out of your neighborhood. You already contained. Can't even put the money, the dough together to move out of your neighborhood. You try to take you and your lady and let's go drive through the rich people's neighborhood, go look at some nice houses. You get pulled over. What you doing here, nigga? You better take your ass on back down to the 4th Ward, because you know the 4th Ward is where we always live. Any town you go to, 4th Ward, you better take your ass back down to Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. Wherever it floods, that's where your ass need to be. Because any town you go to, wherever the flood zone is, that's usually the 4th Ward, and that's usually where we're at. Take your ass back down there to flood. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, man, you know, like definitely Anwar, you right, the breadcrumbs, but I'm just gonna push the timetable a little bit. And I know I'm talking a little raw, but you know, it's after the solstice, and I did inform you guys that this is gonna be a rough year for enlightenment and transformation. And I'm just keeping it real with you, man. And that's actually what I was gonna talk about. But the brothers were here, so it was great. So they jumped right in. But you know, the coming segments that we may do will probably turn a lot of you off and you'll want to go somewhere else. And that's cool. I respect that. That's why I gave you so much information since 2011. I gave you a nice backdrop. So whatever, so I don't have to do anything next. It's kind of like Stevie Wonder. You listen to some of Stevie's new stuff, it's like, what the heck is he singing about? You know, but it's like, it's okay because we got songs in the Key of Life and, you know, and Musicarium and The Secret Life of Plants. So it's like, you know what, OG, you put your time in. If you want to do some corny music now, just enjoy yourself because you hooked us up. You gave us such a body of work. That was my plan, to give you such a body of information that going forward now I'm like Fiddler and Roots. Remember that last scene when Fiddler died? Like leaning up against that tree with him and Kunta talking, and he played his violin. He said, "White folk always want me to play what they want me to play. Shoot, I'm gonna play music. I'm gonna play something I want to play." And he sat there. He played for the first time. He played a song for himself, and he died while he was playing it. That's where we at. You see, so a lot of you probably gonna say, man, I ain't messing with Chief no more, man. Chief, I don't like where, he's not just giving us rituals and stuff anymore, or whatever. But see, that's y'all who trying to get me to give you the foot rub. You see, he won't rub my feet anymore. He won't give me my fix. He won't masturbate me. Come on, Chief, just pull on it a little bit longer. It's getting ready to come. That's what that's not happening anymore. You see, you're gonna have to masturbate yourself. Okay. You gonna have to fulfill yourself. Okay, that's where we at right now with it. Okay, you gotta fulfill yourself. I'm not here for that. You see, going forward, I know people gonna be offended, and I don't care, because we are in those final stages of this thing, man. I'm telling you, you got to look at the way the attacks are coming, and you got to look at our non-response. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the hood and been robbed, or seen somebody get robbed, or seen somebody get set up for a jukes. There's always a tester first. There's always a tester. You see somebody will do something, they'll test your boundaries first to see how you'll respond. You see, you might, I've had people try to test my boundaries before. No, try to play around, joke around, tap my pockets. Yo, you got me on that 40? I'm going to break your damn wrist. I had a cousin, every time I used to come around, live in the Bronx, they used to like, him and his crew used to like to make fun of each other time. They call it doing the dozens. And I thought I was funny, but I wasn't as funny as them. They were like next level funny, and I'd always lose and then want to fight afterwards. Like, yeah, but you can't beat me, because I didn't have any sense of like, yo, just chill. Like, we cool. Like, once you embarrass me, like, no, we fighting, and because I always was ready to, I'm gonna overdo it. Don't embarrass me in front of these girls out here and stuff I'm visiting. Plus, I didn't dress as nice as them and all that. They was like fly street kids. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing here. People will test your boundaries. So I let them know, even when we joking, don't talk about my mother. I'm gonna punch you in your face. We crack on my sneakers, but don't crack on my mother. Or whatever. Or it's the same thing here. So this society has tapped your pockets so many times. They've tapped your pockets. They've jumped in your car seat, played around, smacked you on your behind, and they see there's no response. So what happens next? Now we know that the door is wide open, man. We can do anything we want. They ain't gonna do nothing. All they gonna do, like I said, call Kiera Clark or Israel or Fred Hammond to come out here and do a concert, or Dr. So-and-so to come out here and calm the people down, or Al Sharpton's anorexic behind to come out here and dance like James Brown. Old bobblehead Sharpton, he gonna come out here, dance like James Brown, and then they're gonna go back in the house and watch some reality TV. So I'm just telling y'all, family, I'm affirming what the brothers are saying, but I'm also saying y'all better stop thinking that the way things are how the way they're gonna be. I talk to my youth sometimes, and they see the changes. Here, I'm gonna give you a good example. Two of my youth, last Strong In went and did security for this young boy's party. He asked if they would hold down the security. It was a party for middle schoolers. So, it was, middle school was what, like from 12 to, well, let's see, like 12 to 13, around there, because they were saying it was kids in there from 12 to 14. And my youth, neither one of them even 17 yet. But they're big. They're big, and they fight, and they tough, and everybody knows that they'll F you up. So they got hired for the security gig, right? So, basically what they had to do was this big tent graduation like barbecue thing. So basically they had to collect the tickets at the door and the dough, and anybody didn't want to leave, they yoke them up and take them out, right? So they came back that night. So I'm prepping them. I'm like, yo, man, like, this is how you got to do it, because I did security, so I'm like, this is how you got to do it when they come in like this, da da da, boom boom, and like, all right, cool, we got it, So they're there, and the young man who was hosting the party, he comes and like walks out to him with this blank stare, right? This young man is 12. And they were like, what's wrong? They thought something happened. And he said, I'm traumatized. He was dead serious. He said, I'm traumatized. Like, I don't know. He's like, I'm in shock. And what happened was he had just seen two girls kissing. And he never saw anything like that. You know, so my youth was like, well, we can't really do anything about that. You know what I'm saying? But one of my youth was like, we're going to charge him. We're going to overcharge him, though, because I think they did a thing where girls get in free. So they was like, well, if y'all want to act like that, then one of y'all going to pay to be the boy. So they was dead serious. Now, I know that's offensive, right? Whatever. Not in my family, it ain't offensive. It was funny in my house. And he sure enough did charge that broad. So, because one of them was tougher. He's like, oh, you get the boy price. So
right. Let me $20.
Yeah. Hey, man, you want to play the role? You can't just do it when it's convenient. You know, so what happened was that there was a bunch of them there, and my youth was like, Bob, I can't understand this. Like, there was mad gay kids there. And I'm like, okay, yeah. He was like, but when we were that age, we couldn't just be out in front of adults like being sexual like that. And I said, you see how quickly things are changing? So youth who are just literally 2-3 years behind you, there was this one guy there who I guess he called himself gay, but he was doing splits and stuff in the middle of the dance floor. You know, he was just, you know what I'm saying? And they were talking about, yeah, he was twerking. He was twerking against the wall. He was doing splits. But these are little, you know, he's like 13, 14 years old. So they're looking at it like, but yo, how could you be that young and be doing all of that? And And I'm saying this thing is moving fast. This is what I'm trying to show y'all. It's moving fast. So whereas my generation, we would look back maybe 10 years, and the generation before us maybe look back longer, y'all are looking back at 3 to 5 years and seeing some major flips in your personal and social culture. So that's why I'm saying the things that you think are going to be here forever, you know, within a twinkling of an eye, may be gone from you. So don't waste your time with, you know, the hyperbole and the far out and fantastic voyages of some of these fake conscious people, man. You better get right to the root of some stuff right now. You better get to the guts of it and deal with your fulfillment first. Start there. Start with the basics of your fulfillment and work your way outward from there. Because if you're not personally fulfilled, man, then all of this stuff is going to take you off guard, left and right.
You know, when I was just thinking when you was speaking on a little bit of, you know, it's time for the new conversation. And when you start having those conversations, the thing that used to prevent me from even jumping into an engaging conversation again was just not knowing. And if you don't know what you're talking about, then that's when you start to give rise a little bit to that ego, because now you're insecure. So now all of a sudden you start to lead by emotion. But then once you start to get, again, connected to that line, then it's like, well, hold on, man, hold on. No, that's not how you do it. And I find now even the conversations that I sometimes enter into, or somebody's like, oh, I said, nah, I'm going to tell you where you're wrong. And I'm not going to raise my voice. This is not an argument. I'm going to just use this moment to teach. And I'm going to show you, just like all of these shows have been, is this now you just use this moment to teach and show them, hold on, man. Let's have a real conversation about this. And then you start to find so many people don't want to have a real conversation. I'd rather stay in fantasy land. I'd rather, you know, the saying that goes there, I'd rather dance with the devil I know than the one that I don't. But I'm trying to connect you back to your line to show you, hold up, this is not the way it's done. Who told you that that's the way relationships should look like? Who told you that? Right. Who told you that this is the way you should move throughout the world? Who told you that? Because once you start to look at it, if we're in a race and you've been having weights on this whole time when you've been running, and the person in front of you has been running with no weights, no ankle weights, no body armor or nothing, just been out there free flowing and running, do you really think that they're going to take them weights off of you to let you run to catch up? Because if I take that weight off of you, anything that I give you to take some of that weight off, you're gonna lap me. You built for this. You're gonna be stronger. You're gonna be faster. You're gonna be physically and mentally ready because there's nothing. I done gave you everything that I got. So just know, anytime somebody gives you something, it's not to help you.
Right.
It's to make you think that you help. You got to start studying now. Again, you start looking at these Orishas and you look at this is study the psychology of this stuff. And then you'll start to see, I see now. But you can't win a war that you don't even know you in. Then you're going to build a house in the middle of a war zone and then cry and then call Donnie to say, we fall down, but we get up. And then y'all singing that old Negro spiritual.
Right.
You know, someday we're going to have a dream, free at last, free at last. You keep holding them hands while they keep picking you off. But once you start to see it, then you say, hold on, man. And then you have these kind of conversations, and you might come into this conversation and say, man, that dude, he's talking greasy, or he's talking crazy. Yeah, and you recognize, you see everybody over there dancing, but then you find out you just don't hear the music. The joke going to be on you.
Right.
The last laugh going to be on you when you say, hold on, man, I'm not in tune and I'm not in the same frequency. You better start to adjust that dial. You better start to see, well, hold on, man. Let me put my emotions to the side. Let me put how my initial reaction, my gut reaction is, what is he saying? Let me listen. Let me just listen. Let me open up the 7 seals and get a show on that too. Again, it's all there. So let me open up the 7 seals to be able to ingest and digest what's going on here. So I can now make a smarter decision on what I need to start to do to move forward. Because you know what? I got up until this point. I've been doing the most craziest, most heinous of things and still not being able to get ahead. Still looking around, not knowing that I have a solid community around me. Still lying to my friends and lying and saying this and that because you know what? Oh, I might smile. Hey, girl, yeah, you look good. As soon as she walks away, man, that B-I-T-C-H ain't S-H-I-T. And all of a sudden, you're still talking, doing all this crazy stuff, not really having a solid community, not really building solid relationships with people. What is the problem? What's going on here? And then you still feeding your mind, again, that garbage of putting a camera in a room and just people having fake interactions and calling it real TV and you knowing it's real. But then you got to understand your mind doesn't know what's real from what's fake. Your mind doesn't know, you know what, if I put this image in front of it, then I don't know, but all of a sudden I start crying when I watch this movie. Or my heart starts to race when I have a dream. Your mind don't know what's real from what's fake. It thinks all of it is real. So you start having reactions to it. Well, then you start to move through the world through it. So then that's when somebody comes along like Chief and tells you, nah, man, don't do that. Don't watch that. You don't need this. Well, who are you to tell me what I need? Who are you to tell me what I can do and what I can't do? Look. Anything that this society gives you is garbage. Somebody who has worked this out, I figured this out, and I'm telling you. But again, how do you learn? You learn from people who are further along the path. And if you don't want to do it, and if you don't want to finally ingest it and do it, you know what? Then screw you. You're going to get left. You're going to get left. And that's the majority of the time I start hearing people, and the hardest time that they have is with their family, or the hardest time they have is with people around you. Again, you leave a rope. It's not on you. Don't let your ego get the best of you. You feel like, I got to be the one to save them. I got to be the one to pull them out of this rut. I ain't got to do nothing. My dad always used to say that to me. I don't got to do an MF thing. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just leave this rope and you can get out. The rope is all in. From whenever you start, I don't even know what date you start these shows, but you can just start in January. You keep going back. There's the rope. And that rope took a lot of energy and a lot of effort for somebody to get on here day in and day out, even when he took over community shows, just on a day in and day out basis to give the information and make it look so easy, make it look so fluid. Don't you know how much work and energy somebody had to put in to grab that? And you got the nerve to say, you know what, I need it this way, or I need to come study in front of you. I need to sit in front of you. No, you don't. No, you don't. Show that you got what's on your plate right now. And I can guarantee you, your plate is probably overflowing.
Let's look
full.
at it.
Did you ingest? Did you digest what you got? Do you know the book? He said that if you can't teach the book, you don't know the book. But haven't you just read the book and then say, okay, I'm good. What else you got? I read this book. What else you got? And then you ask a simple question like, okay, then what does Sean go?
A place in Jamaica. It's a town in Jamaica.
Like, what is it? But you're trying to skip steps. But slow down and just take what's on your plate right now. And then once you start to do that, you try to really ingest what's on your plate, then you'll start to see, man, if it's taking me this long to try to get it and understand it where I'm able to teach it, what did the person have to do to go ahead and present it this easy? What did he have to go through to do this? What kind of process, how much time did he have to give to just away from his family, away from things that he probably wanted to do? Away, again, the example, I'm going to play what I wanted to play. But you know what? I need and I see what my community needs most, so I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to do what needs to be done to go ahead and elevate people because this is what it needs to be done. You start to look and say, man, how much energy did he give for this? How much did he have to sit down? Was his eyes burning? Then you start to just put yourself in that shoe. Was his eyes burning when he was reading this book? Because when I get to like 30 pages, I'm ready to put this book down because I'm just burnt out. Did he keep going? Did he drink coffee when he was doing this? How did he keep his energy up when he used to start intimating like, man, this takes a lot of work? And then you all of a sudden your conversation starts to change. Hold up, man. You know what? Anything you give, I am just greatly appreciative of because I know it wasn't easy to get it. And it wasn't as easy as I can get it now with just clicking a button on YouTube and saying play, and then let me grab the information, and then what's next? Play. But I know that wasn't always around. And just like you said, it may not always be around, so then how did you get it? Did he have to go to the library? Was there things he had to fill out? Did he have to put his name on a waiting list to get a book? Did he have to go through somebody to borrow a book to go get it? And then was this person arguing with him saying, hey, where's my book at? Or did he borrow somebody's book that he needed back because he wanted something to teach on and say, hold up, man, where's my stuff? Now I got to go through this headache. You just begin to start to see it from all different angles. You say, man, you know what? Whatever it is, I'm just appreciative of it. And on a day in and day out basis where people would pay millions of dollars to try to figure out their purpose, so they pay millions of dollars just to try to get some teaching, I'm able to wake up on it, and then for a minute it was on a Monday through Friday, take a Saturday off, back Sunday through Friday again. I'm able to hit this button and be able to get spiritually fed. Spiritually fed. I go into a restaurant, I get food, I pay for my food. I come in here, all I'm doing is just hitting the button and I'm getting fed so I can go ahead and move throughout my days, and then I just wait to come back. But really, what are you giving back? Critique? Are you giving back just now all of a sudden, well, I think you should do it this way. I learn best that way. Nobody cares how you learn best. You get it how you get it. And you only know that because then you start to intimate, well, how did this person get the information in the first place? Now all of a sudden I'm going to cater to you and tell you how you should be, or let me do what's best for you. Let me tap dance boss for you and show you how it's better. Yo, okay, let's do that because I just want you to get it so bad. No, figure it out.
Yeah, you dropping it. That sounds about right.
It sounds like everybody wants to have, well, it is that everybody wants to hit that minute button on that microwave and just wait for that ding. That's what it is. And that minute button ain't helping nothing. You're getting food that's polluted.
Well, you gotta. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Omar.
Yeah, you gotta let the time of actually plucking the vegetables and whichever way you get your food is go through the whole process of getting the food prepared so you can cook it or get it ready to consume. And then once you're consuming it, you're using all your faculties to consume that food. And then once you get those critical questions answered or those critical questions that you came about in perspective, then you can find your true enlightenment from. It's nothing's microwave.
Here's the other part to it, man. That's important for everyone to understand. And I've said it before, but I don't think people really know what I mean when I say it. I don't care about everybody. I want the best of the best. You know, when you look at the concept of Kwanzaa and the Nguzo Saba, 7 principles, but just look at the basic principle of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a harvest celebration. You see, so when you're dealing with harvesting and that whole science, you're not only harvesting your crops, but you're harvesting people. So what does it mean to harvest people? It means that we take the best of what we've cultivated through culture and we gather those to us, you see, and we utilize them and then we replant part of them to grow more of them, you see. Now, I don't want every piece of fruit that comes up. Some of it is crap. Some of it, worms done ate all through of it. It wasn't strong enough to defend itself from the natural environment. So it needs me to put down, you know, I got to go now get dishwashing detergent and water and spray it all over the greens, you know, to keep the bugs off of it. Or I got to put salt down on everything, or all these different things to keep the worms and the bugs off of it, because it wasn't strong enough to defend itself from its own natural environment. I'm harvesting the strawberries and the kale and the callaloo and the bitter melon that was able to survive its own natural environment. It came through special like that. You see? So I never cared about a mass movement ever, because I know the power. I know the power of what just a few people could do. You see? I know what the power. I mean, look at bank robberies. How many people rob a bank? 3, 4 tops. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take a whole lot of people to do some major things. It doesn't take a whole lot of people. You just got to get the right people. You see, so when we talk about sometimes the reaction that people have when it comes to the information, those aren't the people I want anyway. I don't care nothing about them. Or like even when some people leave Anu, and if you leave Anu, as far as I'm concerned, you know, you look at it like this. What community leader do you ever see begging people to be in their community? You'll never see that. Even pastors and imams do not beg people to come down to the mosque or beg people to come down to church services. They may say, hey, it'd be nice to have you come worship with us. They may do an altar call and say anybody who wants to join the body of Christ, but ain't nobody begging you. Because if I have to beg you, I don't want you there anyway. You're dangerous. You're going to be the one who's going to be giving information. You're going to be the agent inside the environment if you have to be coerced and tricked to be in that environment. You see, and that coercing and that tricking is a sign of someone who's unfulfilled. It's just like if you go as men, and because a lot of this what we talking about is really for the men to be listening to, because we're talking about building it, and these are the parts. Because the sisters will follow along, man. When a sister loves you, she gonna come along. It's not even an issue. She may not say that on the air and stuff because you know they try to talk tough. But you know how it is when the pillow talk. If you say, baby, look, we're going to go move to Costa Rica, baby. We're going to move to Belize. That's what we doing, all right? She going to say, all right, daddy. You know I love you, daddy. I'm with you. You know, but you get on the air and Enlightenment Transformation, she's going to talk about my aunt and she's a goddess and all that. But you know how it is behind closed doors, all right? Where the man is going, she coming, all right? So a lot of this is for the brothers. And what I'm saying is that even when you approach a woman, for instance, and you got to approach like a damn court jester, and you cracking jokes and trying to make her laugh and all that stuff and trying to manipulate her emotions like that, you already showing that you're functioning from a deficit model. Straight off the gate, you functioning from a deficit model because you by yourself, you already know you're not enough. You're not enough. See, when you come into a room, when you're fulfilled, you're not worried about who you're going to be attracted to. You ain't even thinking about it because people are going to be attracted to you, and you roll from that model because you know the value and the worth that you bring to the room. You ain't looking out, where's the pretty girls at? Now, you ain't even thinking about that. They coming for you. So it's the same thing with community building. I'm not looking at who gonna come with me, who gonna join. I know what I bring. I ain't even worried about it. You coming over here. I know you coming over here. I could tell because I know the value and worth that I'm bringing into the room. You see? So I'm saying that even for you brothers who are working with this, man, don't be sitting there trying to preach people down and, hey, man, and hey, why don't you check this out? F all that. If especially for men, if they can't get it in one sitting, we don't want them. We don't want them. Let them go somewhere else. There's a whole lot of movements out here for slow people. And I don't mean slow in terms of IQ. I mean slow in terms of motivation. I don't want those ones. So even though we leaving breadcrumbs, like Brother Anwar said, you may find yourself climbing a mountain and being faced with an iron gate that will not open. You might climb that mountain for nothing because you took too long. You see, so there's a time period for things. I'm sure we've all gone through this. Like you may be in a relationship and you going through problems and you ask someone a question like, hey, do you even want to still be together? And they take so long to answer, you say, you know what? I'm done with this. Because if it's going to take you that long to answer, then I know we don't even need to be together. You see, so it's the same way. If you can imagine that, I don't know if any of you have ever been in that situation, but if you could imagine that in terms of this building, that's why I am the way I am. It's not a cocky thing, but I know that it's a frequency thing. If you vibing on my frequency and I put some information out and I put some concrete stuff out, and I do feel what I put out is concrete, you know, and what I mean by concrete, I don't just drop little hints and then try to pretend to be deeper than I am and go on to the next subject. You know, some people do that. They'll say, the sun is a spaceship. If you had half a brain, you know the sun is a spaceship. And I would get into it right now, but we don't even have time for that. Let me change the subject. So now what I'm talking about is rap music and hardcore hip hop, you know, that little slick stuff people be doing. You know what I mean? I don't do that. If you hear me say something like the sun is a spaceship, I'm going to talk about it over the course of 30 days. From all different angles. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm putting out concrete, definitive points, definitive information, and a person is vibing with it and is like, okay, Chief, what's next? All right, cool, come on. If people are like, yeah, but I don't know, and Chief, why you got to talk like that sometimes? And, you know, and you be talking about hoes and this and that. You're not on my frequency. Don't worry about it. Go over somewhere else where you feel more comfortable, because you know, even back on the continent, it's a huge place. There were many nations. Everybody wasn't part of one nation. Everybody acts different. You go to some certain areas, man, their marital customs are completely different than other areas. You go to certain regions, people drink cow milk. Certain other regions, they don't even, you know, raise cows. There are no cows. You know, certain villages you go to, they don't allow dogs inside of the village because the gods of those villages don't like dogs. Or certain villages, they don't allow goats, but they allow sheeps. Go back and forth. So it's all about the frequency that you're vibing on. So we don't actually need to beg or plead for anyone to wake up underneath this system of study, because there's many different systems of study that may wake you up, or maybe you won't get awoken. But either way, if you're not a part of this frequency, trust me, I really don't want you around me anyway, because you're dangerous. You'll end up getting me locked up. You see? I know the history. I know how my people treat their leaders when they're not on frequency with them. They set them up. They shoot them. They slander them. They rob from them. I know the history. I've been studying this for a long time. It's public information now. We could read about what happened to Marcus Garvey. That's public information. We could read about the death of El Hajj Malik Shabazz and who killed him. Or Martin Luther King. Or Medgar Evers. And who helped to facilitate some of these environments. You could go as recent as Dr. York. I know how this story ends. You see, so if a person isn't on the frequency, I don't want you around me, man. You're dangerous. So everyone doesn't have to come. I'm not one of them type of people. Everybody don't need to be here. You know, sometimes I drive through the streets or see something on TV. I see people filming bum fights, stuff like that, or filming people fighting in World Star, yelling that out in the middle of a fight. You think I want to live on some land with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you stay here. I don't want to be anywhere with you. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you find enjoyable, you know, or if you beat somebody up because they didn't fry your chicken right, I'm not trying to be anywhere with you. You stay right here. I got a comfy place for you, right? It's called America. You see, so everybody's going to wake up differently, man. And some might say, oh, they're like that because they haven't been exposed to the knowledge. That's not true. A lot of people have been exposed to the knowledge, man. They're doing what they want to do. Trust me. I know. I've been in all kind of environments teaching, man, from prison houses to pen houses. I've been doing this thing. I started this in prison. You see, that's all of this teaching started in a woman's detention facility. And then I did all kind of youth detention facility. I've been through almost any environment you can think of doing this particular work. I'm also an ordained minister. So I did work as a prison chaplain as well many years ago. I did work in hospitals. I mean, trust me, man, people have been exposed to this information. You know, maybe not to the depth that you guys have and things like that, but people have been exposed to the idea that there's something more going on out here than what the TV tells us. Just that's enough. Just that simple idea. So what I'm saying is that I know that what we teach and what we share is not for everyone. If it was, the numbers would be higher. Okay? If it was, the viewership would be much higher. I'm hip to that. In the same instance, real food doesn't get the same play as fake food. McDonald's does not go out of business, whereas Whole Food just got bought out because they were closing stores around the country. That's why Amazon bought Whole Foods. They were doing poorly. Nobody want that real food. Not to mention they charge too much, but nobody want real food. Give me the McDonald's. You know, or everybody's getting sick off Chipotle, but I'm gonna eat Chipotle, it's cheap. Or you find out that the Subway's chicken ain't real chicken. Well, I'm still gonna get it anyway because they got that dollar, buy one get one free Fridays. You see, so it's the same thing when it comes to this information, man. Not everybody's gonna vibe on the organic, real information, and that's cool because you don't need much. Just like you eat a good solid salad, it'll fill you up for your whole day. The whole day, you'll be good, man. You get the right kind of minerals in you, and you get some good water and some good sunlight, you won't even be hungry. But you can start your day off at a damn all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet, and I guarantee you by 2 o'clock, you'll be hungry again with a film of slime over your teeth. That film it always leaves over your teeth. So I'm just saying this ain't for everybody, and that's cool with me, and I hope it's cool with y'all. And I hope you're appreciative. And that's why I always thank you all when you're in this space, because I know it's not for everybody. So whoever's here, I honestly do consider them to be special, especially those who ride consistently. Now, some people swerve in and out. You know what I mean? That's cool too. Some people are not going to take it to the next mile. Some people just like this sandwich better than the next sandwich. But then there's some folks who they ready to take it to the tilt, and they understand and respect the value. Those are people who we're all related. We're astral mates. We're related somehow on this journey of life. We're related. That's why it's always so important to sing out your authentic note, because the only way your family is going to know you is if you sing your authentic note. Then they're going to hear that sound and they're going to say, that sound like me. I had a brother call me recently. He's probably listening. Sometimes he jumps in and out of the chat room. But he did a consultation with me recently. And he said, yeah, Chief, man. He was like, man, I hear some parts of your story when you be sharing little things. He said, man, he's a country guy. He said, man, you sound just like me, man. Like, man, we done lived the same story. He said, man, and I saw a picture of you. I said, this nigga look like me. He said it just like that to me. He said, this nigga look like me. I said, okay, well, why thank you? Why thank you very much. But I could dig it. You know what I mean? I get where he's coming from. You know what I mean? Like you feeling that kindred in the note. You feeling that kindred and the vibe there, man. You got to pay attention to that. So that means we don't have to beg each other. You dig? Just like Lo always bringing up some stuff. I know that stuff Lo be talking about. He can't talk about nobody else but us. Lo brings up all these different movies and things like that. He can't talk about that with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he's found his space. He's found his space to express certain things. Brother Charles and Brother Byron, the same thing. You brothers, the same thing. Some of you sisters, the same thing. You have found that space where you can express yourself freely. And at the same time, maintain your authenticity. Nobody, and I didn't beg any one of you. You see, so that's what you want to pay attention. Some things will come together organically, man, like a beehive. Everyone will just know how to put themselves into proper position and proper placement, and you don't necessarily want the ants and the squirrels around your beehive. You see, so when some of these other folks show up, man, I know who's going to stay and who's going to leave. I know. I don't always bring it up. Okay, I don't always respond in that manner. It should be fixed in a minute. Thank you for letting me know. I don't always respond in that manner. In fact, I was speaking to a brother earlier today during his session. You guys know the brother, but I'm not going to say who it is. But we were talking about something that happened. And it should be fixed. Just let me know if it's clear now. But we were talking about something that happened, I guess we could say, on the back end, behind the scenes. And I knew it's clear. It's clear. Thanks. Yeah. And I said I'm sharing this with you because you need to understand what the mantle of leadership means. And a lot of times it means having all kind of effery going on in the background while you maintain dignity. You maintain a vanguard of dignity, and you see the snakes, because there's somebody, and I knew that I had pointed out to him, who is a troublemaker. And I said, yeah, this person, they're a troublemaker, and he was like, well, he's a troublemaker. Like, what's up? I say, nah, let that brother live. Let him live. His job is to be the troublemaker. His job is to do that because he helps us to weed out who's about it and who ain't about it. If people fall for his BS, then we know they ain't strong enough to be here. So he never imagined in his mind that I knew what this person was doing, because I don't speak on. I see everything. I'm Haru. That's my name. I'm the Falcon. I see everything that's going on. I just don't speak on it. But I move and I do things based on what it is that's seen, man. So this is a high IQ movement, man, and it attracts high IQ people. I like the people who are in. I like hearing you guys talk and break things down and things like that. It's a different kind of mind that comes along with this type of movement. And the reason I like it is because we're a part of a similar vibration. You see, there are times I say things, I get thumbs down, but I know it's not from the core group. I know it's just people doing it, passing by because they can do it. That's all. But even if I take it there a little bit, most of the people who really ride what I knew, like, yeah, I feel the same way, because it's a similar vibe. So that's what you really want to be seeking out is kindred spirits. You'll cover way more ground that way. Kindred spirits.
And the thing is, though, why is it so hard for people, though, to recognize what is real? I guess when you you sit there in front of me, like, you don't see this, you don't. I remember, and I never forget this, the first day that I ever met Chief, and we went to that retreat, and he was standing over there building a fire, which everything he talks about, he does in real life, y'all. So it's just like, but the first thing that he did, and I'll never forget this, when I went up to speak to him, he took his glasses off. Now, something that people might think, well, so what? But you know how many people will sit there and have a conversation with you and you can't see their eyes? So you really can't see it. You don't know what they think. I'm going to stay covered up. I'm going to stay hidden behind this mask. But he took his eyes off and looked me dead in my eyes, and we just started having a conversation as if we was hanging forever. And mind you, this is the first time I've ever met it. And then you start to look and you say, why do so many people fall for something that is genetically modified, or somebody who's really literally trying to take advantage of you, or somebody who's just giving you something knowing that they haven't done it themselves, but I'm going to just give it to you just because I know it sounds good and this is what you want to hear. And then when you go to apply it, you get jammed up, you get screwed up because you buy in, you all in, but then you haven't really, you didn't really look into the eyes of this person.
Well, maybe Zach, but let's try this. Can you sit on top of a mountaintop and see the wind currents?
Can I see them?
Yep.
I can feel them.
But can you see them?
No.
Okay. What's wrong with you? Why can't you open your eyes and just see the wind currents?
See, I'm gonna have to say, you're gonna have to show it to me.
There's different levels, brother. Like you just said, I can feel the wind currents. I'm sure if you looked at the treetops, you would see the wind currents pushing the trees different directions, right? But it's still not seeing the actual current, which would be the source of the actual movement. So there's different depths to this thing. Some people can see the after effect. Some people can see the source. But just because you can see closer to the source doesn't mean that you're more righteous or you're more pure. It's just different levels of growth. So some people will listen to me and not even hear me, but they'll listen to somebody who steals my information, and they'll be like, see, I'm feeling that. Okay, Well, I guess you can see the wave, you can feel, you know, the wind, you can see it blowing the tree around, but you ain't ready to see the wind yet, the actual cause of it. All right, cool. Well, eventually you will. We got to start you wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always tell you, don't neglect your own growth. I've told you that. I've told Sister Michelle. I mean, I don't want to name everybody. A lot of people who y'all just think it's like, why I try to tell people, then listen, not everyone can see the wind current. And then after we see the wind current, then we got to say, well, can you see the spirit inside of the wind? Can you see Afefe? Can you see Oya moving inside of there? You see? So there's different levels of depth of perception. And, you know, we all come in with a certain perception already off the gate. And then we're developing a different level, but you may live and die on this planet and never be able to see the wind current, ever. That may just be your lot. So does that mean that you're not conscious or you never woke up? No. It just means that that wasn't the level that you needed in this incarnation. You know, so sometimes we have to celebrate. See, that's what community is about, man. It's about celebration. You dig? It's celebration, man. If I talk to one of you guys and you say, hey, I used to eat like a damn pig, you know, and now after really getting into the lessons, I've learned to respect my body more, and now I only eat pork once a month, and I only eat candy, you know, once a week or something like that, whereas I was doing it every day. Hey, man, we're gonna celebrate. I'm not going to say, well, you know, you shouldn't touch pork at all, and sugar is worse than pork. And I'm not going to do any of that. We're going to celebrate, because that's how you affirm the values and the love that you have inside of a community, through celebratory opportunities and through reverence. I'm going to reverence you as a divine being for whatever level that you at. If you're trying and you're striving, I'm going to reverence you. Oh, congratulations, bro. Congratulations, sis. Oh, okay, cool, man. Check it out, man. Let's do something fun. Let's go to the reservoir. Let's go swimming, man. Let's pull the drums out. Let's have a jam session. Let's do an open mic night, man. Let's freestyle. You know, whatever. You know, but we're gonna celebrate. You know, we're gonna celebrate that little bit of growth. And I may look and say, well, damn, you know, you still gonna kill yourself eating that pork once a month, a week, whatever I said. But that's only because
I like my ribs.
Yeah, I like my ribs. Now I ain't getting my ribs. You know, I may say that inside, but at the same time, I'm looking at the motivating energy, the wave, the current that caused the person even to make that decision. So they're looking at maybe their body and saying, hey, I want to, you know, be a little bit more healthier, whatever. I want to be able to go up steps without wheezing and stuff like, okay, cool. But I'm looking at what's behind it. And I may even say to myself, you think that's all you're going to be doing. See, that's the little evil mastermind genius in me sometimes, where I'm like, you think it's just going to be that. In a minute ago, and within a year or two, I'm going to have you teaching, you know, food prep classes for holistic nutrition. But you don't even know it yet. You know, just like I've spoken to you guys on the same level. Oh, you think you could see yourself maybe one day doing it? Oh, me? Nah, I'm okay. Yeah, I hear you. I feel you. But see, I see the current that's active underneath you. You see? So it's the same thing when you're talking to people, man, and you putting the truth right in front of their face, and then because a lot of times what you putting in front of them is literally invisible to them. It's like if I explain something to you and I start using my nerdy language that I use sometimes, and those large words that people are like, huh, what, huh, then essentially the whole statement becomes null and void. You can't hear anything I just said because you didn't understand a word of what I just said, so you just zone it out. Whereas if I break it down and make it more simplistic at a more rudimentary level, now it becomes denser. It becomes more solid. It becomes like a rock. Now you can see it and feel it. And the person say, oh, okay, you can't deny that rock in front of you. It's going to be a response some way, you know. But if you talking about high ideas, man, some people can't see the wind current, man. You know, and there's certain things that you can't see. There's certain things that I can't see. Sometimes I'm doing spiritual rituals. I'm doing the work, and it may not be me. Somebody else will say, there's a spirit in the corner of the room. And I'll have to double take. Oh, yeah. Oh, sweat. You right. Now, I might just see a little shadowy figure. The person to be like, oh, it's a little girl. You know, she's smiling. I ain't see all that.
Or she was that fine. Or she was that fine sister you seen the other day with the high jeans.
Oh yeah,
on.
old school roller derby girl. Yeah, you know, could have been her. You know.
So I wanted to read something that Mama Sadaka wrote in the chat room. If any questions, if you have any more questions, man, put them in the chat. This is what she stated. She said, "This month's solstice segments have enlightened my path, enabling me to enjoy this as a good time of remembering that, like the sun, we contain power to nurture, regenerate, and sustain. It's proven to be a time of inviting fire into my life, fire to burn away all that I have outgrown and all that no longer serves me. Fire that makes that which my inner self longs for grow in me." So, you know, it's just one of those things about the solstice energy that it gives us that time to see, once again, to reiterate, is to see what we've grown past, what we've built, what we can take forward into these next months or this next season of creation and rebirth. So it's just something that stuck out with me inside of this chat room.
Yeah.
No questions though. No questions yet.
You know how they do. Brother Haru also said in the chat room, I thought it was a real nice statement he put in there. He said, honestly, I need the community. I need the teachings and instructions, and I absolutely need the discipline. I truly appreciate the Anu experience has brought, and I haven't even started a class. You know, now I'm appreciative. I'm appreciative of your presence, Brother Haru. You know, I know it seems like I celebrate when men show up more than I do women. I absolutely do. Yeah, it's easy to get you women along. That ain't hard. Because y'all, you know, women are more sensitive to the needs, because remember, you guys are the problem reporters. You don't want to say, hey, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. It's harder to get a man's attention. You know, women know, oh, I got these babies, I need some good instruction, or this or that, I'm trying to get my life together. You know, so when there's a man along, you know, I know that one man could bring along 4 or 5 families. You see? So if I got 5 men, I got 25 families, essentially. And I ain't talking about polygyny or nothing like that. I'm just talking about the way men tend to cover, you know, multiple people and stuff like that. So, you know, when the brothers step forward and say, thank you, and I'm, you know, this is helping me and I'm glad I'm here and so forth, it's very powerful in that sense. It's very welcomed, of course, but it's also very powerful. And Anu has a lot of men. There's a lot of men in there. There's a lot of women. But the ratio on the percentage is 51 and 49. I check it constantly. 51% female, 49% men. That's pretty high, considering most organizations, you know, usually more like 70% female, 30% male, you know. So yeah, man, just you guys coming in, and like I said, a lot of the information that we're spitting right now is for the men, because the women are gonna come along. If your plan makes sense and she makes sense, and she's not so insane to the point that she hasn't divorced that little demon inside of her yet, you know, because understand, by 13, they've all the women who y'all trying to get at been married off already by 13. They've been married off to this little tiny demon inside of her called Western society. And that's her sub-husband. You see, and as she grows, sometimes the demon becomes less tiny. It starts to become larger and larger and larger. So by the time you show up, you know, she's allegiant to her first husband, and you're basically her side dude. She's cheating on her first husband with you, and she treats you like a side dude. You know, anything you say, she says, I don't know. I got to think about it. Well, what standard is she using to think about it? The standard that her first husband is whispering in the air. Nah, baby, I don't think that's good for us. Move to Africa? Baby, I don't think so. We're going to move to Atlanta. You know, she's.
I need to become a housewife. I need to become a housewife.
Right. You need to be a housewife. Don't you want to be famous, baby? You know, so she's still married to that sub-husband. You know, and your job is to knock him out the box. You know, you can't just do it with your penis, man, because there's always somebody bigger than you. There's always somebody who got a longer stroke. You know, you gotta do, your mental prowess has to be so refined and so on point that you blow that husband that she's had all these years straight out of his position. You burn him out of her body. See, that's the key. And then once that happens, once you burn that sub-husband out of her body, she's all yours. So the things that we're talking about, she's gonna be down with. Oh, you say, hey, baby, look, we're gonna move to Ecuador, or we're gonna move to the Philippines. All right, baby, because you know you're the light. You're the light of my world. Not a problem. Especially, you know, if you have a proven track record, your knowledge is on point, you have sound mind, sound body, so forth and so on. She's gonna roll with you. So a lot of what we're speaking about, and I know some of you sisters here may not like what you're hearing, but I don't really care about it, because if I wanted you, I could have you too and make you do what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying, a lot of this is for the brothers to understand. You got to man up in these ways, man. You got to grab this information and do something with it. You got to man up and then move forward. You know, because got a lot of brothers reach out to me a lot of times about the sisters, man, the sisters. You know, why won't the sisters cooperate? Why won't they get along? Get along and do what? Most of the time, the stuff you're trying to get them to cooperate and do, they already doing for themselves. why would they want to do it under your regime? I wouldn't. If I was a woman, nah, man. If you can't take me to the next level, no. Well, I'm gonna do this for you. I'd rather do it for myself. You know, so you have to kick the game up, man. You got to take it to another notch, man, and let them see that there's a whole nother way to be living. You dig? There's a whole nother way to be seeing the world and to be living. There's a whole nother way to be raising children. There's a whole nother way that they can be regarded beyond just somebody saying, "Oh, hey, peace, queen, peace, queen." That's old. You know, that's old, man. That's played out in the 80s with Blue Nile and Egyptian Musk. That's old. You know, so at this point, man, you know, brothers, we got to take this information and become space age with it. Like you look at them advertisements for the Black Panther, Wakanda, that's how we need to be. So when you step to one of these sisters and say, look here, this is what we doing, Shama show, you know, if she's not an idiot, she'll say, oh, here we go. Okay, now next level. If she's a foolish woman, that means she's still tightly mated to that first husband. Then she's going to fight you. If she fights you, you say, all right, keep your ass here then. It's just that simple. Keep your ass here. There's plenty of land to conquer. I don't need you. Keep your ass here. It's real simple. It's real. So a lot of times when I get those calls and brothers talking, man, I can't get my woman. You sound stupid, dude. See, now I'm talking. I don't normally say that, but you sound stupid. What you mean you can't get? If you don't like your woman's personality, give her a new one. I've always said that. Give her a new one. Because what is personality? Spirit. So if you don't like her personality, then what kind of spirit are you injecting inside of her? Because that's all you getting reflected back on you. Your own sorry ass spirit. If you ain't doing anything and you running around in circles and you complaining, my woman's lazy, she don't want to do anything. Unless she's just so thoroughly made it to that first husband. And you can tell the signs of that from the very get up, man, just in the level of independence that she has. If she's super independent from you, she's already letting you know, I'm already married. I already got a husband. I don't need you. She's already letting you know that, you know. So, yeah, man, a lot of this what's being said. I know it's harsh. I know it's rough for a lot of you hearing it, man. But again, I got like 5-6 years of just some straight spiritual stuff. If you want to just vibe in on that. And if you notice over the years, it got harsher and harsher. So if you really, if you want the real soft stuff, go back to the first classes where I'm just giving you straight Orisha spells. All right. But if you really want to know how dudes like me get the information that we get and how our character is able to sustain the information, it's the actual principles and lifestyles that I'm telling you right now. And the biggest thing, like Brother Zach said, what did he have to go through to get this? I had to lose everything, man. Everything. So anything you could put in your mind that you could think about a person losing, I lost it. Yes. Women, Yes. Children? Yes. Family? Yes. Houses? Yes. Cars? Yes. My freedom? Yes. Just keep going down the list. Yeah, we could just sample the yes. We sample that. Anything that you can list that I've lost that could be lost. Yes. Respect? Yes. Reputation? Yes. All of it to get to this point. And I'm only scratching the surface. So does that mean that you'll have to lose everything? Yes. I know you thought I was gonna say no because your call is different and my call required more because I'm the chief. Please. There's way more important people in the village than the chief. Way more important. Chief is not the most important person in the village. Believe that. Just like the security guard at your gated neighborhood is not the most important person. But if you don't act right, you can't get into the neighborhood unless you go to the security guard. But he's not the most important person. So you may have to lose even more than what I lost in order to fulfill and get to where you're supposed to be. That's just how the thing goes, man. But I'm telling you, man, for a lot of you dudes, if you step up right the way you're supposed to and stop pussyfooting around and stop scratching your behind and looking up at the stars and following every new alchemist and every new this and that and stand firm, man, and move forward with some strong information and a strong plan, you're not gonna have all them problems out your woman, man. And if you continue to have problems out your woman like that, she ain't your woman anyway. She's already married, man. So let's just go off with her original husband. Because he got more structure for anyway. He got Social Security and child support and you know all kind of things, man, that he's already established for her for them to continue their relationship together. She doesn't really need you, you know, because you haven't brought so much value to the room and to the situation where your worth and your value is undeniable. You see? And that way, once you realize your worth and value is undeniable, people can't just do whatever they want to you or say whatever you want. And then you don't need so much from people. So like when you hear me say things like, I don't care if people calling or not, I really don't. Because I'm bringing so much value that I can give you some of it. Here, you enjoy your day. Here, you take some information. Here, I ain't, what am I going to do with all this value? I got so much value, I don't know what to do with it. That's called wealth. I'll get off this show. We're going to get off in a minute. I'll go teach somebody else something because I'm overflowing with it. Why? Because I'm letting these principles that our ancestors taught us live inside of me. So when they live inside of me, it's like damn eggplant. Anybody ever plant eggplant? That stuff just spreads all over the place. Squash does the same thing. That's why I don't even plant it anymore. It'll spread out your house into the front of the street. The way squash and eggplant vines go. You see?
Yeah, I make sure I'm not gonna plant no eggplant because I'm telling you that's that adult food.
Yeah,
that's
it is
adult food that you don't like. I can't do eggplant.
I don't even like it that much. I used to just plant it just to be responsible. Like, well, you know, adults should eat eggplant. I don't even like it like that. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm saying, man. When this stuff is alive in you, then we love being around each other, man. You don't come with so much deficit. Every person you meet doesn't have to be a sign from the heavens that's fulfilling a plan. You meet a woman, maybe this is the one I asked for. Maybe she's the one. You know, or you meet a man and, oh, maybe you can come take care of my children. You know, everyone isn't that. And you can actually enjoy the presence of people, man, without all of that agenda. You dig? You can enjoy what they're bringing into a space, man. See, that's what the community is about. And in order to have that, you're going to have reverence. You got to have reverence for our ways, man, for our principles. When I say I'm not saying the Anu ways or chief ways. I'm saying you got to have reverence for our time-held traditions. That's where it starts. It starts with reverence. And then you got to be able to celebrate each other. I'm telling you, you got to celebrate each other. You know, stop always putting each other down and being so quick to say what's wrong with everybody. God, excuse me. That stuff is annoying. You know, stop doing that all the time, man. You gotta be able to celebrate the small little victories, man. I'm still happy that Sister Marva took her grandchildren to drum class. Now you probably thinking, with all the things going on in your life, Chief, all the things going on, I knew, how the heck did you remember some woman you never met taking her children to drum class? Huh? Because when I say celebrate, I mean that joint. When I say, oh, wow, congratulations, I mean that joint. I ain't saying it to sound friendly. I don't give I don't give a crap how I sound to you. I know I ain't friendly. When I'm celebrating that joint, I'm celebrating it for real, man. You dig? And that's how we keep our Egun alive, man. We celebrate each other when we come and we do things and we pushing forward. And I'm happy for her grandchildren. I'm happy for her. How many conscious grandparents do we have who would love to be able to introduce the culture to their grandchildren and can't because the parents is spirit blocking? She don't have that problem. Man, that's a blessing. Sister Diana, the same thing. She got her grandchildren with her most of the time. And let's look at this too. These are women who are 50 plus. Who wakes up after 50? Another celebration. Some of you jokers ain't even 40 yet, and I can't get you to wake up. You got women 50 plus like, F this, man. I'm doing these rituals and I'm learning about these Orisha. I've been wanting to do this since I was a little girl, but everybody was blocking me. I'm doing it now. Come on, man. Is that not worth celebrating? Shit, I'll pour out a whole bottle of Henny for that. I'll get my Eshu drunk for something like that, man. That is glorious. That's marvelous. You understand what I'm saying? That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you form a community, man. You got to celebrate. Anytime you do any type of astral traveling, what are you going to see? You're going to see commemoration and you're going to be celebration. You're going to see people dancing and partying and stuff like that when you're going into those higher spiritual realms. That's why we love celebration that so much. We come from the tribe of Judah. We are the Judah people. You hear the Lion of Judah. You hear the Rastas talk about that. The word Judah means praise. We're the people of praise. That's why you go back to the continent, you say the simplest thing. Oh, my father's coming to visit. My father's coming here to visit me. Oh, daddy's coming. Daddy's coming. They start dancing and clapping. I ain't never met your father a day in their life. Start dancing and clapping. You see? But that's how you know who's in your community. See how excited they are for you? Just because your father's going to get on the plane and come see you, or you say, yeah, my family always wanted to visit Africa. Next year, I'm going to bring them with me. Oh, they start dancing again. Well, we going to dance again? Okay, all right, okay.
I feel that way. I feel that way every time I go to Suriname. That's just like, oh, you're coming? Okay. Yeah. Celebrate, man. Celebrate.
That's how you
heard it first. The Iron Wall. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, man. Keep that community strong. All right, I ain't gonna keep you on any longer, man. I know we've been on here for a long time, and I got on half dead. But and these brothers, they dropped it, man. They thank you so much. Like I said, I wasn't sure who was going to be on because we started late and we didn't send out an announcement. But I guess I can depend on y'all.
Hey,
another reason.
It's called
for
doing the work, man. It's called doing the work.
Yeah, but when you go back to Suriname and you start your organization, Anwar, you're going to understand why I said what I just said. When you find some people, oh my God, it's not an easy thing doing any of this type of work, man, or putting yourself out there consistently. And when you find people who they start to take up the rhythm and say, okay, I got you, and they keep it going, that's a big deal, man. That's a real big deal. You'll see what I'm talking about, What? Okay.
Well, I am going to go buy a bottle of Henny, go play some drums real quick. I hope everybody has a wonderful, strong Sunday. It's winter solstice. We covered a lot. I would like to say, eliminate, let the sun burn off. Like Sister Marva said, let the sun burn off what was past and what no longer serves you, and pick up the tools that you've gained and move forward with that. Go into the next stage of your creation. And that's all.
And I'm just thankful, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm thankful for the information. I'm thankful for even even people that I've never met. I'm thankful. I'm even say this, Brother Lowe, when he gets on there and he's talking, or that conversation he had with Chief, again, I take things as challenges, and he be having conversations that be just, I'm like way over my head, and I'm like, where you get that from? I'm going to look so I can jump in that book so I can get to that conversation. Now, some of the stuff y'all be talking about, I looked at some of the books, and I'm like, I'm just let y'all have that. That's but that again, just knowing the placing of a community, and knowing that I don't need to know everything. I don't need to, but I do whatever it is that the post that I'm supposed to hold up. The post that I'm supposed to hold down, that's what I'm going to hold down, because then that's where people will come in that community to get what they need to get. So just like if you got some information or something that is way out, and I'm like, no, and I want to say you and Brother Lowe talking about the Galageesh. You know what? I know somebody who can talk about that. Go over there and talk about. I don't know that. I don't know that. That's not my place. That's not my lane. So once you find out your lane, which now is shaping and molding your character within that community, that's when you can start to say, you know what, we got something here. Just like the brother Haru who said on there, man, I ain't even got into the class yet, but just learning from everybody else around you, you start to pick up, and it starts to push you. It's like, you know what, I'm not where I need to be. I remember that first conversation after when I met with Chief. He was like, you don't like her, because he just said it again, you don't like her personality, give her a new one. And I kind of was taken back by that. Huh? Hey, what do you think? And then it had me to check myself and like, well, what am I doing wrong? What do I not know that would make me not be able to talk like this brother talking in front of me? I got to go get it. I can't now. What am I modeling at that deficit that now tells me I need to go ahead and get that information? I got to know, so that therefore when I reemerge again, that solstice, when I come back out and I present myself, what am I going to present myself? And then I'm going to celebrate it. And then I'm going to go back to getting to work, because the work is never done. And you go right back to working on yourself and working on the betterment of the community. So again, that greater self-preservation is group preservation. So I'm just always thankful, Chief, for you and for everybody else who just keeps coming through. Because even if I have not seen you or met you, I'm still, y'all, the conversations you have, you still are pushing me as well. So give thanks.
Yeah, give thanks. And for you, all of you as well in the chat room, I see you guys have been keeping it, keeping it up, keeping it popping. Brother Haru says, you said quite a few times, if you're listening to me and my shows, if you got to, I knew, and Chief Yuya, this is your last chance. I remember that. Yep. Because if you got to hear it like this, that means you've been ignoring it for a long time. Because I know I'm not the most pleasant. I know I got a voice. I got like a LL Cool J voice. I could be harsh or I could be smooth. But most of the time, I don't care either one it is. So it ain't the most enjoyable voice to listen to. So if you got to hear this harsh voice, then chances are you've been ignoring something softer and smoother all your life, man. So don't keep ignoring it. And I'll just say as well, and peace to you, Sister Diana Williams. She said, thanks, Chief, and the brothers for the food. I definitely consume some and I serve it, and you're welcome, Sister Rachel. So thank you so much for the wisdom. Much appreciated. As well as you, Mama Sadaka. Yeah, I'm just going to leave you all with this thought, man. As you're vibing, I know a lot of you are on social media, like you talk with each other and stuff, outside the shows. And, I'm not on it. So I don't, I'm not a part of it, too much of that. But, hey, components that you want to start looking at to see if it's in your community. Of course, start with your family. Predictability, right? I did a show on trust before. You want to make sure that there's trust or predictability. I say predictability. You want to make sure there's some caring that's in there, that there's reverence for nature, that there's reverence for elders, there's reverence for ancestors, and there's a unified spirit. That's it. That's your components. I could do a whole segment on that, but we ain't, because I'm done. But that's all you need right there. Those pieces, that's your building blocks for your community right there. Everything I just listed to you. The caring, unity of spirit, openness, that you have to be open. You have to be able to speak to each other, open. If if I come out to do a lecture, you need to be able to say, hey, Chief, no disrespect, but that, those pants make your butt look big. All right, man, good looking. You know, go back and change it for something else on. You know what I mean? There has to be that level of trust and openness where we can speak to each other like family, you know, and that caring and that reverence for our elders is key. Reverence for nature is key. Reverence for the ancestors is key. Those components have to be in place in order to corporatize a neighborhood into a community, or corporatize a family into a community. All right. So for whatever that means for any of you listening who say, well, I'm going to try to put some of these principles in action, I'm showing you this is where you start. This is your baseline. Okay. So, and thank you, brothers, for calling in today. Brother Charles, he had to go out of town. You know, I spoke to him earlier, so he said he couldn't call in, but thank you for calling in. And, you know, we had opened up the lines for anybody who else wanted to call, but of course, as usual, y'all know how y'all do. And I don't have to be cute about it. You know, y'all like to take, but you don't like to give, but that's all right. Nothing's forever. But in any sense, thank you, brothers, man, because you truly did give me life today. You know, truly did give me life, man. You two are dropping it crazy. And I just feel good, man, because I know where you started. And you definitely wasn't where you're at right now. So, you know, so I like the fact that, man, y'all are like some young gunners now, man. You know what I mean? I feel confident about you guys going out and not only representing what we're doing here, but you also kind of representing yourself as enlightened men. You know, and I'm very proud personally, because you know, you could be a lot of different things. You could be the phonies, you know what I mean? But you're choosing, you know, in this environment, what I knew, you're not gonna get much shine. You know that. You know, I always got 50 more miles in front of you to learn. You know, anytime you come up and you extra smart, I'll throw something on you for you to study further. See, that's part of one of the burdens of leadership. You got to always make sure that you have something for your people. So I got to always stay studying to make sure I have something to give you. You see, so you won't have those breakout moments where you jump out and say, I'm the light of Anu, you know, and neither will I. Because I could talk all this mess, but until you say, well, Chief, where's the kingdom? Can I come visit the kingdom? Like the physical kingdom of Anu. Can I come there, Chief? Well, we working on it. Oh, well, then that means I ain't have my breakout moment, because that's my breakout. You know, when you come up that road and you see the flags of all the different African countries along the road, you know, and then you see the guards at the front and the children are playing back there and it's smelling good and everybody's looking all shiny and greased up, you know, and you know, they break dancing in the front, and you say, this is Anu. Yeah, this is where we at, you know. Until then, I don't have my breakout moment either. So I'm proud of you at the fact that you doing it off the strength. You're learning off the strength of your own pride and dignity to be something greater than where you started, man. So I'm very proud of you guys, man. And that's for all of you who are putting the work in. It's not just Zach and Anwar. But they are very prominent and they are very consistent. So they might be putting a little bit more work than the rest of you, but yeah, man, I'm just thankful for you brothers, man. So thank you so much, man. You gave me life today. I wasn't 100% today. I'm still not, but I got some things I'm pushing through. But having you guys here, man, it really made me feel really good today, man. Thank you so much. This has been the highlight. Honestly, hearing you guys has been the highlight of my whole strong. I'm gonna keep it real with you. So, you know, this was beautiful. Thank you. You know,
gotta reciprocate, Chief, and I thank you, man. It's the information, the unity, the love that we've all shared inside of the group has clarified me a lot. I had stripped down, like literally stripped down, to get myself into a place where I'm able to be more, what were we saying? Ready to bring things and give. So Thanks. Thank you. Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Chief. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, family. So, you know, travel safe on this Sunday. Hey, Lo, reach out however you can when you can, man. You said that you were on a walker in one of the shows. And if you need some help, I know you'd never joined I Knew anything like that. But you said you on a walker, so I'm assuming you got some physical thing you're working with. Reach out, man. If you need some help, we might have some people in your area, man. If you need somebody to help you, I don't know how bad you are. I just remember you said you were one late night show. You were talking. You put it in the chat room. We were talking about dancing, and you said I love to dance, and I'm in a walker right now. All right. So I'm not putting your business out there. You already put it in the chat. All right. But I've been thinking about
like
it.
happy feet.
Yeah, he said he got happy feet. Exactly. He's like, I got happy feet and I'm in a walker. You know, and I know you're a young dude. So you know, if there's anything that I can do, you know, just reach out, man. Or, you know, let me know what's what. I don't have any contact information for you, anything like that. All right. Yeah. It's been on my mind ever since then, but I've had a lot of things on my mind. So I can't always get to everything when I need to get to it. Sadly. But yeah, man. Oh, you said you're fine. He said, no, it's fine. All right. Okay, tough guy. Okay, I guess it's a light thing though. All right. Yeah, it had me thinking, man. He said he's on a walker. I said, oh, okay, if you need some help or whatever, man. You know, sometimes you're in situations like that. It's a small thing. Somebody that just kind of you know, take it. I should give first, Chief. Nah, man, F that, man. Come on, man. You should give first. Look, man, you ain't got nothing you could give me anyway, man. So don't worry about it. And you allowing somebody to help you is giving. All right? Get that out your mind, man. I should give first, Chief. You do give. You be cracking jokes in the group. You keep coming after Deanna. You trying to give, all right. I know he's talking about giving. I got to give one of these sisters a baby. I got to give her the big belly. Nah, brother. That's not how it works, man. This ain't no tit for tat thing, man. You know, if you need, just reach out, man. You need something, we here. That's what we do. So, nah, man. And it probably wouldn't be me anyway because I don't live near you. But, you know, I might have you never know. I might have a student who lives right next to you or down the street or something like that, you know, who could bring you a book or something. You know, sometimes it's the little things, man, but we got to stay connected like that, man. So, no, you don't have to give me jack shite. I'm good. All right. I'm good. Just, you know, but yeah, you reach out, man. You reach out. Let me know what's popping if you need some help. And I travel a lot, man. Sometimes I drive through areas you'd be surprised. You know, I do a lot of lectures that I don't tell people about, you know, because they're on different subjects and stuff. So yeah, man. But I just noticed you gotta put that in there, man. You know, so yeah, if you need something, man, we're here. So it's all good, man. Half the time the stuff we do for each other don't even mean anything for us. It's something simple. You know, somebody might bring you a bag of ice, you know, something like that. But it might mean the world. You know, it might mean the world. Y'all know what it's like, man, when you sick and somebody bring you some fruit or make you some tea. It's like, oh I am loved. You know. So yeah, man, we got to do for each other. You know, I gave you the tenets of community, caring. You know what I mean? You got to care. Come on, man. It ain't that big a deal. All right, let me get out of here, man, before I, you know, turn this into a guy warm and fuzzy moment. You know, me and Lo be on a mandate.
Knock you out, I need love.
Yeah, I start singing. We'll be on a mandate somewhere, eating popcorn, watching the movie. Nah, we ain't going that far. But just reach out. All right. All right. So everyone, you guys enjoy your Sunday, man, and be well, be strong, and we'll be back next Sunday. I'm used to saying I'll see you tomorrow morning, but nope. I'll see you next Sunday. All right. He said, you ain't strong mind, strong body. Well, hey, she might be near you. Deanna might want to pop up and bring you some.
Get him.
He got jokes. Yeah, no, I don't look like Deanna. Yeah, shoot, she's a personal trainer. But you know, we got a lot of personal trainers in our new. That's a little secret. I don't know, man. I got a lot of real attractive people in our new for some weird reason. Well, you know, it's the spirit of the leadership and everything. But no, but we got a lot of attractive people in our new, man. So you never know what you might get, man. You know, you got to play the lotto, the I new lotto, you know, because a lot of people are health practitioners and personal trainers, and you know, it all comes along with self-development and self-help. One thing kind of comes along with another. So you're gonna attract those type of people, man. The finest people in the world in the conscious community. Ain't no joke about that. That's the best looking people in the world. They just, their minds are shot, half of them. But hey, you know. So yeah, man. Who knows who might show up, man. but all right. He got jokes, boy. See, he gave a laugh. All right. Until such time, I will see you all. And in the meantime, those who want to join the ministry, sign up to ournewlifeglobal.org. We're going to get the women's ministry popping again soon. And for those of you who want to be a part of the men's work, we got some really cool initiatives popping off. Just so you brothers know, Brother Charles and I, you know, he filled me in. We're going to speak again. But I know what you built with last Sunday. But we got some really, really, really cool, and I mean cool initiatives, not the usual men's ministry stuff. Like we're gonna sponsor a basketball team or something. Like we got some better stuff than that. You know, I had some really, which I thought were really cool ideas that I didn't think we could get off yet. And I was sharing them with some of the brothers, like, well, this is what I would like to do. And Brother Charles went in on it, man. So we got some cool stuff that's going to be happening pretty soon, man. So for you brothers, you don't want to, you know, be a poop butt and drag along late. And for you sisters, we're going to get the women's ministry popping pretty soon. And hopefully it'll be just as cool. All right. But until such time, I'll see you all. Be safe. Peace.
Peace. Peace.